Let's go. Boxing Day bets, Santa Anita Park, opening day. Dan Tordjman, Ashley Mailloux. Ashley, how we doing?
We're hanging in. Christmas was yesterday, so it's been a very relaxing day. I feel like I ate too much, and I'm still eating too much, all the leftovers today. So hopefully, I can stay awake. It's, an earlier show than we did last time, and looking forward to the late pick four, some good races at Santa Anita coming up.
Absolutely. We got the Brea Stakes coming up. That's race 8 at Santa Anita. We got an Allowance, and then we got a couple of big ones coming after that. We got the Malibu, the RUNHAPPY Malibu, and then the American Oaks, race 11. So we're going to do races 8, 9, 10, 11, late pick 4. We're going to give you our picks. We're going to bring in Mike Somich from the Racing Dudes. We've also got a couple other folks that are going to be joining us in a few moments. Eating leftovers for days, totally acceptable. Question for you, Ashley. How long after Christmas is it acceptable to leave your tree up? What do you think?
So I actually had this discussion with someone today because my neighbors across the street already have their poor little tree at the foot of the driveway. Like, it's already been taken down, booted out like the Grinch. I always wait until January 2nd because my birthday is January 1st, and I feel like it's still New Year's Eve is still holiday feel. So January 2nd, I feel like it has to stay up. Like, that's my rule. So any other answer is not acceptable.
All right. Well, you've all been warned. Ashley just let you know when her birthday is, so you better send those gifts and cards and everything in what 6 days from now. So big birthday coming up. All right. Let's bring in Mike Somich here. Mike, what's up? How you doing?
Doing well, guys. Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. As I said earlier, we were in the prep room here. You look very festive. Have you put in a good amount of work today? You ready to make some money?
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I like the Gulfstream card quite a bit. Then we caught a bunch of rain today, so kind of took off a couple of the turf stakes races there. So focused on Santa Anita. These last 4 races are a lot of fun. I'm bummed Hot Peppers didn't make it to the track, but I'm interested in what happens in the Malibu here. I think you obviously have Taba, who's a standout, but a couple horses on the inside I think give him a little bit of trouble because I think they're quite a bit faster early. So it's gonna be interesting how that one plays out as well.
Yeah, I actually the scratch of Hot Peppers. While I agree with you, I think. The horse was interesting. I think it also opens up another interesting scenario potentially, which I'll just tease that and leave it at that. Ashley, I don't know how much you've been able to watch today. If you've been following Santa Anita, the big storylines, Frankie Dettori's out there, Tyler Gaffleone and a few other jocks are out there. Big day at Santa Anita. When it comes to playing Santa Anita, what's your general approach?
I feel like it, looking at especially this meet, you mentioned big riders are in town. The Colony got a whole lot, I guess, stronger with the addition of Frankie, but you still have Flavian out there, Johnny, you name it. They're all out there. So, it makes things interesting. I also think with the start of this meet, looking at horses, a lot of them coming from Del Mar now getting back to Santa Anita. I think a lot of them, especially with the turf, when you're thinking about the downhill and things of that nature, I think it gives you a little bit of an extra element of handicapping to look into. I'm biased. I mean, I love the dirt stakes races out in California, but these turf races on today's card, I thought were probably some of the best betting opportunities. And I'll tease it as well. I'm all in on one horse in the last today. So we'll see how that kind of works out for me. But I've been on a horse for a couple of days now. So I do think there's a little bit of an added element to handicapping, especially with the meet just starting up.
All right, very good. A guy who used to be based out west, who's now on the East Coast, just hopped in. I'm going to bring him in. He goes by nothing other than Scotty right now. That's it. He doesn't want to let you know anything else about him. Scotty McKeever, what's up? Equine Edge.
What's up, guys?
Again. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys? Ashley, it's good to see you. Everybody, it's so good to see everybody. How's it going? You guys have a nice Christmas. We got Mike in the house. Mike, how are you?
Doing good, Scotty. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Bless. I'm in Florida right now. The weather is absolutely bananas here. I'm serious. Like, I feel like I'm in the mountains in California right now. Like, up there in the San Bernardino mountains. Like, it is crazy. It was like 40 degrees and there's a little bit of a breeze. So it's felt like it was 20 degrees out here.
I got more falling iguana pictures today from friends than I had in a long time. I don't know if you got any of those in your backyard, Scotty, but I keep an eye out for them.
They fall asleep. On these trees, right? It's so funny. I mean, Ashley knows that being out here, but yeah. It's awesome over here. But I really like it. It's kind of a nice change. But honestly, I've been here 2 years. I have never. It's 20 degrees cooler than I've ever actually felt it out here.
Yeah, you're wearing a hoodie. Weird.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never
You know
seen
what's
you
so
in
funny
everything.
is I was in the airport. I was traveling to California, and I had my first grandchild. And I was wearing this Chicago shirt, and I got it in the airport because there was a layover in Chicago, and it was freezing. And I got this thing, and then I didn't actually. This is so bad. It's going to sound terrible, but I didn't actually even look at what it said. I just was freezing, and I got a sweatshirt. Everyone's like, "Go Chicago, go Chicago." I'm like, "What? What? Why is everyone saying that to me?" I looked down, and Chicago.
That is the most you comment I think you've
I
ever
know.
made. Like I did not even look at what it said. I just bought it. I put it on.
That's the way I am.
And by the way, congratulations, becoming a granddad. I mean, which is kind of hard to believe considering you look like you're 26.
No, thank you so much. No, my mom's 77 years old. She's I'm half Armenian, and honestly, my mom's 77 years old, does not have a wrinkle on her face. I'm pretty blessed that way. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, very good. Obviously, you also are on team Keep Your Tree Up for as long as you want. I see it there, which is good. Mike, I don't see any tree behind you. I don't know if it's just with the camera's positioned. Tree down yet?
There's lights right up here. We tried to set it up so you can see it in the back there. And I'm
is it there?
It's right there.
Oh,
Right there.
okay.
I'm probably the most egregious person at this, by the way. My Christmas lights don't come down all year. They stay up. I'm too lazy to go around and take down the Christmas lights. You just unplug them, plug them back in a year later, you're good to go.
Wow. Well, you can tell Ashley's got better eyes than me. I did not see anything back there, so I apologize for missing that. Right here on the screen here, we are going to show you the video. This is now race 7 just wrapped up. Looks like a couple of nice prices there. Le Deuxième Étoile.
Actually, that's 2 in a row for Frankie Dettori.
There you go. And I like a little Frankie horse coming up. We'll talk about it. We've got 4 races we're about to dig into, starting with race 8, the Brea Stakes. Mentioned the scratch of Hot Peppers, the 2-horse. Interesting race now from a pace perspective because Hot Peppers obviously figured to be the controlling speed there. Beyond that, we've got race 9, which is a nice allowance race going a mile and 1/8 on the turf. And that's followed up by the RUNHAPPY Malibu Stakes. And then the American Oaks is going to be race 11. So we're going to dig into all that. Before we do, I think, we should just because, this time last year, there was a certain horse running in the Malibu who had a decent 2022. So I figured, you know what, let's look back at the 2021 Malibu to kick off the handicapping action. So let's look back. Let's see what happened.
And they're off in the RUNHAPPY Malibu. And Team Merchants is very quick away from there. Flightline wasn't that fast out of the gate, but he moves up effortlessly now to take the lead. Baby Yoda at the rail is close up, just a length off the leader. Then comes Stiletto Boy in 4th, 3 lengths off the pace. Dr. Shivel hustled up, 1 from the outside. Triple Tap is next with 4 lengths to make up. And Timeless Bounty is at the back of the field. It's Flightline who passes the half-mile pole in hand by a half length. Baby Yoda, Team Merchant side by side. Stiletto Boy is in 4th. Dr. Shivel, Red Silks, 4 off the pace. A length and a half more back to Triple Tap. And at the back of the field, it's Timeless Bounty. Flightline sailing away, coming to the quarter pole, opening up a length and a half on Team Merchants. Baby Yoda trying to get off the rail. In behind them, Dr. Shivel. Triple Tap is last as Flightline turns it on at the top of the stretch. And he's in cruise control. Flightline, a superstar, is dominating the RUNHAPPY Malibu. And he's going to turn this into his easiest win yet. Flightline, jogging home under Flavian Pratt, wins by a distance.
Put Tyler Gaston on the 5. Easy. Late pick 4 in 24 minutes.
Good Lord. Geez. Let's go down the line here, starting with you, Ashley. Most just sort of impressive, awe-inspiring, memorable when you look back in 10 years from now race that Flightline ran in 22.
I mean, you just look at all the races. I mean, what he did is just something that we haven't seen, and I haven't seen in my lifetime. I know I'm the young gun in the group, I guess, to say the least. But it's just, you look at the Breeders' Cup and all the races that he was in. I wish we would have got to see him a bit more, but obviously with with the breeding industry. That's why he's retired, and you can't fault his connections for that. But I mean, the Malibu, you saw that performance. I just feel like he even got better with each start.
We have here from Nick that's going to be Taba today. I don't know. That may be a controversial take. Mike, what do you think?
On Taba or on Flightline?
Both.
Flightline, I actually like the Met Mile the most because he was breaking from the rail. I wasn't sure what we had yet. And so it was interesting to see him go out to New York and get it done out there. By the time he rolled around to the Breeders' Cup, I was pretty sure he was going to roll. And so that was more of just enjoying the moment versus, having any type of anticipation, which is what we had in the Met Mile. And as far as Taba, I think it's going to be interesting because I don't think Taba is as quick as a couple early today. And Santa Anita, especially on these 7 furlong races, you want to be forwardly placed. So it's going to be interesting to see where Taba is in the pack and if he's able to kind of run down the 2 horses that I believe are going to be in front of him, turning for home.
Okay. Scotty, how about you? Flightline, 1 race. Which was
the Classic for sure, because I thought that was a pretty strong field going in, and it was just super impressive to pull away and win like that. What a way to start your sire career. So that was pretty impressive, and I would agree with Mike on Taba. I played a pick 5. I did have Dettori on the 9, and I did not use Taba. So we'll see. I'm on the Nakatomi fan bandwagon here. 6-1 on the Equine Edge morning line. Going to get a nice trip. There seems to be a lot of speed. Forbidden Kingdom on the rail. You got Straight No Chaser. And these 2 horses both need the lead, and they're going to be flying. Messier is kind of a front runner as well and not fast enough, so I'm not a big Messier fan. Apprehend, the 3, isn't fast enough, and so Nakatomi is going to be my pick. And I also think, as a long shot look, the 8-horse Strava. I think this one, you don't want to ignore this one, at least in the money and the exotics. So on my ticket, I actually only used the 4 and the 8.
Okay. Ashley, it sounds like it's going to be me and you, Team Taba, against those 2 dudes down there.
I mean, I like Taba. Just you look at his resume, but it's interesting. Scotty mentions the 4, Wesley Ward's horse, and that's like my second pick in the field. I mean, we know Ward in terms of dirt races in California is not a common form of words right there. I mean, turf, yes, he sends his turf sprinters, but see a horse like this, when you say formulator or something, good luck finding many races at all to go off of. So I thought that was interesting. And I actually like him. I mean, he's coming out of a pretty quick race at Keeneland, but he's tactical. He doesn't need the lead, but he can kind of press the pace in there. And Scotty hit the nail on the head. The horse on the rail is really quick, but we're stretching out to 7As. So I think he could get a good trip before.
So we're jumping ahead just a little bit here, right? But it's good that we're talking about it a little bit because people are putting together Pick 4 tickets right now. So we want to set them up to win. And let's start with the first race. The first race that we're going to be looking at is the Brea Stakes. I've always loved this race. There was a horse back in the day named Got Coco. I don't know if you remember this horse, Got Coco. This was like early 2000s. I absolutely loved her. She always had like this incredible closing kick. I remember when she won the Brea, I was like over the moon, just super excited. These were my early days. I think I was betting like $5 across, and that's it. I was rich, right? I hit Got Coco at like 6-1. I was thrilled. So the Brea Stakes always holds that sort of special place in my heart because of Got Coco. Anyway, I'll stop with that. And I'll say again, Hot Peppers is scratch. The question is, how does the pace unfold in this race? There are a couple of horses who can show speed and who have shown speed in the past. You've got Ganadora, the 3-horse, Bob Baffert, Johnny V up, who's shown speed in her last couple of races. She's always forwardly placed. You got Midnight Memories, who's been close to the lead, but that's going longer. So now they're going 7 furlongs. And then you got Under the Stars, who to me is interesting because even though in her last few starts she hasn't shown as much early speed, that was with Juan Hernandez up. Flavian Pratt hops back on here, and he was up when she won the Santa Ynez at 7 furlongs in January, right on the lead or kind of pressing the pace early and just right there and kind of kicked away. I think she's sneaky from the rail, and I think she could potentially be one of the speed factors. So let's go. Let's kick it back down to Scotty. How do you see this race unfolding from a pace perspective?
So Ganadora has our top pace number of 83, but has a weak class number, our SOR number, strength of race. Under the Stars has a 70, so about 13 points away, but has a much superior strength of race class. So I imagine the 1 and 3 are going to be on the lead pretty clearly. I think it's those 2 horses on the lead. The one has more class. I envision the 3 stopping. Maybe the 1 can keep going, but I am all about. I think Midnight Memories is going to be very, very tough in here. Has some class. We'll be sitting probably in 3rd or 4th place, and it's going to get first run on them for sure.
Mike, you agree?
I agree and disagree. I think Ganadora is your pace here with the 3, and I think she's got a real good shot at taking this field gate to wire. Scotty hit the nail on the head. Look, the 1 is much classier, faced CC last time out, but Ganadora is one of these horses. When she got back to the Baffert barn, you saw that jump right back up in ability, and I think she can take a nice step forward here. Lightly raced 3-year-old who should be forwardly placed, and that the scratch of Hot Peppers really helps her out quite a bit, because you have the 3 horses that Scotty mentioned are all Bafferts. It's highly unlikely we see 3 Bafferts press each other up front. There's going to be one that goes. I think it's the 3 Ganadora that gets loose, especially since you have that rail draw for the 1. So it's going to be the 3 clearing over, and I think has a shot at taking this field gate to wire. I have the 3 singled in a pressed pick 4 ticket to kick this puppy off.
Oh, okay. Very strong opinion there from Mike. Ashley, what do you think?
The Ganadora debate. Yeah, I think this horse is going to be on the lead as well. The one thing I'll say, I do think, you kind of compare her to Under the Stars. Scotty's right. I mean, Under the Stars, deeper waters, more races under her belt. You just see what she's faced. Mike mentioned CC. The only thing with Ganadora, I don't know what she's faced. And if you want to call her only poor outing, was going a mile and a 16th, and then she went a mile. So I do love her on that cutback to 7A. She's only going to make her 2nd start since June. So that's an angle I look for. Under the Stars, though, if I'm trying to go against maybe Midnight Memories or whatnot, Under the Stars, I don't know what to make of. And I'm curious to see when we look at, I haven't been checking the odds or anything, what her odds will be in this field. We've mentioned it. There's 3 Bobs. They're all nice horses, but I'm curious to see the betting action as well.
All right. For those of you watching this show and saying, hey, didn't they tell us Ryan Flanders was going to be on, Mr. Trip Notes Pros? He is texting me from Santa Anita. He's having some internet trouble here. He said nothing is connecting at the moment. He's still trying to get on. So if you're waiting just for him, I apologize. You're stuck with us. But I think we've got a couple of pretty good minds here. So I think we can make it. Of course, we were still hoping Ryan could join us here at some point. Let's take a look at the live odds here.
You heard it.
Hey, how about that? Midnight Memories, 9-5, your favorite. I guess not all that surprising at all. Ganadora, though, Mike licking his lips, 9-2 right now. That ain't gonna hold. I can't imagine, right?
I think we're getting 4-1, 9-2, somewhere in that range. The 1 horse, See the Stars, is going to take a ton of money here. You're going to see money continue to roll in on the 4 as well. Midnight Memories, Fun to Dream, the 4th Baffert in here, who's got Hernandez up, and that 6th post is going to take money. I think the 3 is going to be the longest priced Baffert and has a shot to take the field gate to wire.
And you know what, guys, as well, if I may, already Baffert's using Vasquez a lot. They're 30% in 20 samples. Vasquez got off both the 5 and the 7. They've already won a race together. This 4 is going to get a really nice trip. It really is. We're not talking about the 6 horse, who surprisingly for Baffert was even money on the EquineEdge morning line. I'm not a great fan of that horse, just lightly raced. So I'm not sure the class level yet. Has been in the favorite in all 5 races. But this is the lowest win percentage yet for this horse. So I think the 4 Midnight Memories, in retrospect, I actually wish I would have singled this horse. I'm starting to really get on this horse and like it right now.
It's kind of interesting you mentioned the Ramon Vasquez thing as well. Earlier today, Baffert debuted a horse named Faustin, who's 29-1 in the Future Derby pool, and it was Vasquez aboard that horse. He had 3 in that race. Pratt was riding for him. You had Velasquez riding for him, and it was Vasquez who got the horse that's the quote-unquote Future Derby horse for Baffert there.
Yeah, no, I thought that, and that race was interesting too. I like the 4 horse whose name I can't remember at the moment.
Me too. That was frustrating.
I thought that horse was gone. I mean, I was like, all right, yeah. I mean, like this horse is about to blow them away. And plus, the other one, I mean, the one that you mentioned, the big horse that won the race, didn't break well either, and was kind of under a ride, it seemed, for a good portion of the race before I guess he started getting serious about things. But that was impressive visually, I thought, the way he kind of kicked clear. So.
Yeah, that horse was Faustin.
Faustin, right? That's right, exactly. Yep, exactly. 4,
Faustin, and beat Sonoran. And both
exactly.
horses. Yeah, and it was, but Faustin was impressive because that horse did not have a good trip, not a good break. Once that horse got going, wow, ultra impressive. So I think Faustin has a good future, and I was on Sonoran as well as Mike. I was really rooting for that.
We all tried.
The 3 was ultra impressive, but I just think it's pretty amazing that when you've got, first of all, if you look at the jockey trainer combination with Hernandez and Baffert 35%, and with Velasquez and Baffert 38%, and then you've got Vasquez 30%, and he puts Vasquez on the best of the 3 of them. I mean, clearly that horse was best of those other two Baffert horses.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's shy about putting Vasquez on his horses at all, his top horses.
Well, that's it. I mean, I think you both had, same observation there, and I think it's something to keep in mind moving forward. Nick here likes 1 and 3 exact to box here.
Coming
this
up
is about
next,
you guys
it's the
too at
Grade
home
1
watching.
La Brea. Welcome back, everybody. Again, if you missed out on coming here today, Michelle, you missed out on a lot.
We keep this thing pretty laid back, pretty easy, pretty chill.
I'm having a drink. I can't yesteryears of horse racing. We have an absolutely packed crowd. We've got the rail full, and we've got Frankie Dettori winning races hand over fist here. But Frankie, I know you like to do the flying dismount.
You're enjoying this day.
Save it for graded stakes.
However you like.
Otherwise,
but bet along with us, play
think
along with
if
us.
Flavian Pratt did the flying dismount, he'd be jumping off horses 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day.
I want to talk
don't
about 2
know
other horses
if our
quick.
ground is good enough for that you can just jump in the winner's circle again and again and again.
Here,
he got airborne for this one. He hit the ground.
A bigger
Everybody
price, a
went
much
crazy.
bigger
It was a
price,
huge
8 to
group.
1.
And then all of a sudden,
I think they both have
great
pretty
photographers
similar
went,
running
Frankie,
styles.
we haven't taken the picture yet.
And they
We
both
had to climb back up to get on, and they said, jump again. He goes, no.
Yeah, they come out of an allowance race
anyway,
back
let's
in
get
September.
right to it. This is the running of the Grade 1 La Brea.
Actually got
3
Awake at Midnight
Grade 1 events. We do have a work we want to show you.
Fun to Dream was
Courtesy of our
huge.
partners over at XB
I think they're both
TV.
sort of
Concerns
interesting
the 5
horses.
feet
They were a little more
Make the
interesting
rider Tyler Gaffalione.
before the
All right,
scratch.
I like this horse in here. I think it's an interesting spot. This is the most recent drill for her. She's actually working inside of Newgrange, her stablemate, who is a well-intended horse who won a nice allowance race earlier on in the year. When they are going down the backside here, you can see that Ain't Easy has a slight advantage.
I mean, now we're talking about the other Baffert. What's the dream? I mean, looking at the field,
really great handling.
I just honestly don't know what she's asset for a horse to have to be able to take that corner at speed. And to me, she was full of run late with no ask. She's going to be a lot of Grade 1 and Grade 2 competition. Has she fared well? Well, she didn't like a mile and an eighth, I don't think, at Keeneland last time out in the distaff, and that's just we know what happened in the distaff. Probably besides Flightline, to me, one of the best races that we saw that weekend in terms of those kind of that blanket finish in the race. 2 back, you got to think about, she's been routing in her last 2. So you go back to her sprints. I mean, she's going to hope for a meltdown. She's been coming from off of it in the races. I like prices. I mean, to me, I wouldn't use Fun to Dream. In terms of, this is to me like the 4th string out of the Baffert runners. I'm just not enamored by this horse at all. And actually, the price is, second choice on the board. But I think Awake at Midnight's going to have a lot to do in the late stages because these horses, even though there's some speed in here, they can kind of hold their own for minor shares.
Yeah, I kind of like the horse a little bit, maybe bottom end of the exacta. As I said earlier, I think Under the Stars is one who could potentially squirt clear. I think potentially could get to the lead. I think Flavian's gonna send him from the rail, and I do think that leaves a couple of others chasing, or at least having to use a little bit. Of course, you're looking at some of the other speed being Baffert as well, so they're not going to all eliminate each other. But I do think Awake at Midnight, if things break well from pace scenario, like looking at how the pace scenario might unfold, I do think that's one who could at least work into the exacta or trifecta. And I do apologize for those watching. I see all the comments here. I thought the Santa Anita feed was mute. I guess it was not muted, so apologies for that. Thanks for giving me the heads up, guys. Long shots. Anything else here we should be putting on this ticket? It looks pretty clear. Scotty likes Midnight Memories. Mike likes Ganadora. Are you using anything else here, guys?
I'm not. I'm using the 3 and the 4 in a 50-cent ticket to try and get through. I'm playing a $5 ticket with the 3 just to see if we can spice things up here and be able to spread a little bit more in races that I think have are a little bit tougher. As far as the 8, I think Awake at Midnight is probably the most interesting long shot. You go back to the Santa Ynez. It was 7 furlongs here at Santa Anita last year. Ran a really good second to Under the Stars. So if you like the 1, I think you can make a good case for the 8 as well. But for me, it's really the 3 and the 4, and hopefully we move along.
Scotty?
Honestly, I really don't see a long shot winning this. I'm really all about this 4-horse Midnight Memories, as you can tell. If we can get 2-1, I'm going to be all over that. Like, I'll be definitely betting this horse. I just think this horse is going to get a good trip. I mean, the 3 and the 1 are going to duel. If the 4 can't win, I know Mike has the 4. I'm rooting for Mike on the 3. This horse is going to run good, no doubt about it. I just don't know the class level of the 3, but when you talk about Fun to Dream at 3-1, those aren't bad odds. And Midnight Memories is probably going to go off as your favorite, and deservedly so. So, Awake at Midnight, like Mike was saying, kind of, but is going to be well back, has 0 speed in this race, was beat pretty handily by, which one was it? Raced against one of these last time out and pretty much got beat pretty badly. So I don't see that horse as well. So Under the Stars, maybe be at 4-1, right? I don't know, Mike. What do you think, Ashley? Under the Stars, maybe but maybe the 1 gets clear. The 1 does have some class. Does Pratt send on the 1, or does he let Ganador go and sit? I think he has to send.
Mm-hmm.
I think
that's my vision.
I mean, I think this horse has to send too. I mean, you look at the last right? We talked about CC. We've already dropped CC's name, and I'm a huge CC fan, but you're gonna have to go from the rail in here if you're gonna have a chance, I think, especially at the 7/8 distance. For me, I mean, in terms of the structure, I played 2 pick 4s and I'm alive in the pick 5, but my pick 4 tickets are light. I'm going heavier in the first 2 races. I'm actually using 3 here, which I wish I could pick 2. I think you have to use the favorite, the 4 Midnight Memories, but I just know my luck. I'll pick Gandora and it'll be the one that I should have used, right? So I did go heavier in the first 2 legs, but that's because I'm going very light in the last 2. And the last race on the card, beautiful betting race, I just have decided to single. I really like a horse there. So I have at least a little bit more wiggle room where I feel like, if I waste a little bit at depleting the value, right? If Midnight Memories just walks here, hopefully I can get the prices that I want later on. And I just rather have a little bit of coverage here.
All right, so Ashley teased it a little bit. We may as well kind of take a little bit of a dive into the rest of this sequence. Since you're putting together pick 4 tickets now, let's just quickly go through the rest of this sequence if you're going to play along with us. And again, encouraging people like Mike, who is just saying, hey, look, bring this 1 home one time. Let's close out this pick 3 for Mike, Under the Stars. It'd make me happy too, Mike. So let's go with Under the Stars to end the pick 3. I like that. But then let's look ahead a little bit also to race 9, a good allowance race, big field on the turf. Ashley, what do you like there?
I thought Ballet Dancing, second off the bit of the freshening for Simon Callahan, was a horse to use. The 6 for Graham Motion, Batya. I think this is an intriguing horse, especially getting a little added ground from that 1 1/16. It's not a ton of ground. Then the horse on the outside, Karakatsi, recently switched over to Georgie's Barn, and the races have been all right, but I like that this horse went 1 1/8 last time out. You see the rider change, Flavian Pratt climbing aboard. Does have the outside post there, though, and has been somewhat involved in those last 2 races, so we'll see what happens. We've talked about this is a wide open betting race. I mean, I spread in here. I tossed in a couple horses, but the 3, 6, and 12 probably caught my eye the most.
Well, I'm with you on that 3, too. I really like Ballet Dancing a lot. I think sitting on a big one, second off the layoff, and watching the replay of that last race, ran a sneaky good race, and then got here Dettori up for Simon Callahan. That just feels like a move where Simon's like, you know what, I'm going to hook my boy up here, get him a winner on his first day at Santa Anita, which would make for his 3rd winner if he doesn't win here. Mike, what do you think here coming up in the 9th race?
I like the 3 and the 6 as well, as Ashley mentioned there. The 2 and the 10, I think, are both horses you have to at least consider. Both of them are your 2 possible speed horses in the race. I like the 10 more than the 2. The 10 Leisure Wear. It's a Diamato horse who took a while to break his maiden, but now we're coming here first race off of breaking the maiden and has another favorable pace set up here. The 2 horse Precious Baby is the other one that could go in this spot, but that horse is coming out of a state bred maiden special weight race for fillies. I'm not sure that you're going to see that same type of pace today from the 2. And if the 10 Leisure Wear gets loose on the outside, I think 8-1 is a really nice price on a Diamato horse on the turf. And he's been absolutely on fire out there in California over that turf course.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, not much speed in that 9th race allowance. Leisure Wear, to me at least, does look faster than Precious Baby, who's the 2-horse you mentioned coming out of, sort of easier competition last that state bred maiden special weight race where he won at a big price, or she won at a big price, if I remember, 25-1 or so. So yeah, I like Leisure Wear there as well. Scotty, what are you guys looking at for race 9?
Well, Precious Baby's very fast. I'm re-looking at this right now as far as our pace number goes. And you hear me okay? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That was just me reacting. Like, okay, so
okay.
Tell me why me and Mike are wrong.
Well, you got there's only 2 horses in that race as far as speed, and that's Precious Baby and Leisure Wear. Just those 2 horses. I think. Well, I was surprised. Precious Babies are Equine Edge's second pick, and Leisure Wear is actually has a decent win percentage in a race where the top win percentage is only 16%. So that's pretty crazy. If that doesn't tell you how wide open the race is. So they could keep going. They're the lone. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 2-10-10-2 because they're going to be, from what I can see, they're going to be well out in front of all the other horses. So I'm spreading out in that race. And in the next race, in the Run Happy, I got Nakatomi, and I'm using a long shot Strava, the 8, and then I'm only using the 6, 7, 8, and 9 in race number 11, the American Oaks, to finish out.
And you somehow mentioned you managed to leave out Ashley's single in the last race, so we're gonna let her get to that in a minute. Real quick, Scotty, you mentioned Equine Edge. For those who are watching now, who are not familiar with the product and all the amount of energy and effort that you guys have put into it, just kind of give us the quick rundown of what it is, where people can find it, and why it's beneficial to use it.
Well, the reason why I created it in the first place was because I was a Big Six player when they had the $2 denomination, and I would spend hours upon hours, handicapping Santa Anita and Hollywood Park and of course Del Mar. And I would spend 10, 12 hours, and it was a lot of my time. And then I remember one time I was down at Del Mar, long story short, and a friend of mine's watching me all day long, and my head's in the form, and he's watching me, and I'm not, like, there's a ton of people having a good time and I'm not enjoying the fun. And he looked at me at the end of the day and he goes, "That was torture watching you." He goes, I don't know how you would want to play this game. And then it just started to hit me, sometimes like the day would be over and then I would start in again. And sometimes it just didn't feel like it. I was just really tired, And so I decided what I did was I said, statistics, what they do is you're trying to take these statistics and you're trying to form an opinion on these statistics. Whereas what we've done is created metrics. These are algorithms that take those statistics that humans are doing and let those do it. We have a breeding number, a pace number. We have a morning line. We have a long shot play, things like that. And strength of race, class. And so instead of me trying to figure out who's the classiest horse, I don't have to do any work, and I can just let the system do the work for me. And it's changed my life, and it's changed a lot of people's lives. Now we have a lot of work to do, but we're also, I think what we're doing is first to market, and I think we're changing the game. I really do. And long-term wise, we'll be global, and you'll be able to look at the same user interface and play any race around the world that you want to play.
Hey, I love it. I'm a believer. I even texted Ashley the other night. I was like, "Yo, EquineEdge pick 4. What do you think? Should we pop some money into the ticket maker and get a ticket for us?" And she, of course, responsibly declined. I still played on my own. But Ashley, before they get into the gate here, let's go. Let's hit races 10 and 11, the Malibu and the American Oaks. Give us your picks, including your single in the finale.
I think Taba's the class of that field, but as we've kind of alluded to, there are situations where he can be beat in that race. But I still would say he's my horse on top. But I agree, I really like Wesley Ward's horse. So I see what Scotty really likes about Nakatomi. And my single is the 2 Sparkle Blue in the last. I will say Joel Rosario was originally booked to ride this horse, had been aboard in the Valley View at Keeneland. Joel's off all of his mounts today at Santa Anita, so Joe Bravo picks it up, who has done well. I like the way he's riding out in California, especially on the turf. That's just my personal opinion. So I just thought it has the inside draw. Now the question is going to be stretching out to 1.25 miles, but this horse is pretty forwardly placed in those races. I I just think there's some upside to her. And if it says anything about her, Candy Light, 2 starts back, finished behind her. It's actually her stablemate, won today at Gulfstream Park for Graham Motion. Different circumstances, though. As Scotty has mentioned, it's been cold and a little rainy down here, so they were off the grass and everything was moved to the Tapeta, the turf races, so a different surface. But I was, impressed to see that the stablemate ran well as well. So hopefully that's the case for Sparkle Blue. But we know Scotty has that horse nowhere, so my horse will either win by a pole or will still be running when we wrap up the lunch.
Ashley, just so you know, that horse has our second top win percentage and EquineEdge second pick. So no, you're in the game for sure. Yeah, no, I took a risk. I'm sure that horse can win. Let's just put it that way for sure. Yeah.
That's what I needed.
Yeah.
All right. They're loaded in for the La Brea. Mike, any final thoughts on this sequence?
I like Sparkle Blue as well. Top pick in that race. Don't leave Skims off your ticket there. And I'm the only one waving the Messier flag. So we'll talk about that when we get to it. I think Tabe is the better horse. I think Messier is the better bet.
All right, they're loading into the gate now for the La Brea. We'll let you hear that sound, and then hopefully I'll remember to mute it coming out of the race so you don't hear it over us.
I'm curious to see what's going to happen here with the pace between the 1 and the 3. I really am, because I know that the 3's fast, but the 1's fast as well and has more class, so it's going to be interesting.
And they're off in the La Brea. Ain't Easy gets the first call. Ganadora is coming through swiftly along the inside to challenge. They're followed by Fun to Dream and Midnight Memories in 4th. Awake at Midnight is 4 lengths off the leader. Then it's Under the Stars, and Kirsten Bosch is the distant trailer. It's Ganadora who's come through on the inside to lead Ain't Easy by a head. On the outside of them, Fun to Dream and Under the Stars has room down at the rail. She's only a length off the pace. Midnight Memories worked upon in the early stages. Awake at Midnight and another 5 to Kirsten Bosch. They move into the far turn. Ain't Easy on the outside. Ganadora at the rail. And a 3-wide Fun to Dream moves up on the outside. Within a head of the lead now. It's Ain't Easy in front. Fun to Dream moves to engage. Ganadora back to 3rd. Awake at Midnight. Purple Cap moves up next. Midnight Memories guided to the far outside. Kirsten Bosch trying to mount a bit of a bid there at the top of the stretch. And Fun to Dream is the leader. Awake at Midnight chasing with determination into 2nd. Followed by Ain't Easy in 3rd. It's Fun to Dream digging in under Juan Hernandez. Awake at Midnight trying so hard. Fun to Dream. Awake at Midnight. Fun to Dream has won the Grade 1 La Brea. From Awake at Midnight, Kirsten Bosch rallied smartly into 3rd, followed by Midnight Memories and Ganadora.
Well, it was those 2 off-the-pace runners who we all sort of dismissed, and they went freaking fast. I mean, 22 flat, 44 and 4. I mean, what if Hot Peppers was in? I mean, what would they have done? 21 and 43. I mean, like that was insane. That was like, I think multiple horses thinking, or multiple jockeys thinking, oh, no Hot Peppers, I'm just going to go insanely fast. And they all had the same plan, and it didn't work out for them.
Yeah, T-Gaff absolutely bombing it out of the gate there on the 5 horse was not something that I expected. And you saw Pratt even try and go to the inside after a 22 and change first quarter to push the pace even more, and just they're just flying out there, set up perfectly for that 6 horse, just swoop them on the turn.
Yeah, and I think the big thing, Ganadora, right? Obviously, first you mentioned this, Flavian then makes the move kind of between the the opening quarter and the half. I felt like as soon as 3/8 into the race, almost to the half, you could see Midnight Memories was in trouble. She was getting called upon. You could see the arms were going already on her, and then she actually looked like she responded. So she was making a move, but she also was way wide in the turn. And actually, when they were trying to straighten out, she seemed like she was still kind of going to the outside, and it was done. But Dan, I feel like you made me pick between Fun to Dream and Awake at Midnight, and that ends up being the exacta. So thanks. I should have looked into that insight.
Well, I'm bummed because I kind of I got like sort of tunnel vision. Like I convinced myself that Flavian was going to the lead, and he's a smart jock, and he's going to get there, and the Under the Stars will coast. But I think probably 5 seconds into the race, I was like, I got no shot with my horse. And then I was like, you know what? If these horses keep going at each other, it's going to set up for one of these two horses, Fun to Dream and Awake at midnight. Scotty, observations?
Well, Nick makes a good point. I mean, that's a Calbred, Fun to Dream, and this horse really has done nothing wrong. Got DQ'd from a second place finish, but was up for the challenge. You know, a lot of times with these young, lightly raced horses, there's really no way to know how good and what their upside is. We could clearly see that this horse is a talented horse, but this is a much tougher field than what it faced last time out. But it handled it, and it handled it well. Did get a good trip. The 4-horse Midnight Memories, in my opinion, was in between horses from the very beginning and really not liking it. And so I'll watch for that horse next time out. And if you look at the last 4 effort, it was on the rail last time out. So I think this horse is the type of horse that needs to be clear and not be in between horses for its best. And I'll put a note on that.
Yeah, monster step up from Fun to Dream, from an overnight $98,000 state bred stakes race into a grade 1. I mean, that's a crazy move forward here. So, yeah, heck of a run there to be able to get that, even with the pace setup. It's a great job stepping up in class and getting the job done.
Calbred wins indeed. And a couple other comments here. This one, look, this guy, I mean, the word is out, right? I mean, we all know Juan Hernandez is a good jockey, but he's really, I mean, he needs to be in the discussion now. I mean, he needs to be in the sort of that top 5, top 6 discussion amongst jockeys nationally. He has really taken his game to another level, and we saw him on Breeders' Cup week, even bringing in horses who didn't win, but he brought in multiple 20 and 30 to 1 shots who hit the board. You know, so Juan Hernandez. If you haven't jumped on the Juan Hernandez boat, you should jump on now, because you're still catching prices occasionally with them. So very impressive. Fun to Dream wins the La Brea as sort of a not an upset pick. I actually bet down to 5-2, but beating a couple of pretty classy horses on the step up from State Bred Company. So sign of things to come. What do we think, Ashley? Now we're going into race 9, the Allowance next race. Are we putting a pick 3 in? Is that the plan?
I feel like, I mean, that's our usual, you know, we get knocked out, you get back up again, and might as well, right? But this is a race. I mean, pick 3, that's one thing, but I think in terms of the exotics, this is going to be interesting. It is a big field. I feel like you look at the next 3 races, you have 2 huge turf fields. I'm curious in the exotics in both of them. You know, now Mike and Scotty have me thinking more a little bit about the pace horses in there and structuring the ticket, thinking about, you know, what's going to happen to them in the late stages of this. You know, Precious Baby stretching out a little bit. Leisure, where we've talked about the pace, I just have an issue with the 1 for 13 record when a horse takes that long to graduate, but has the confidence. It's not like the horse was missing the board that much. So yeah, I'm fine with the pick 3. I'll get back involved, but I'm also excited, you know, kind of excited to try to figure out a trifecta ticket to structure here.
My pick 4 is dead, so I'm absolutely playing a pick 3. And Ashley, you could encourage me to do dumb things sometimes. Come on.
I'm telling you, you should. It doesn't matter. You don't need my stamp of approval. You're going to do it anyways.
I need your stamp of approval. I really do.
Okay, go fold the 10. You got 2 pick 3s, okay?
Just
Mike,
2?
What's the game plan? Yeah, right? Seriously.
We'll fire back at this pick 3. I agree with you, Dan, there. If you miss your pick 4, that's why they have pick 3, so you can fire right back at it. Probably going to play something pressed through the 10 here to start it out, although when the prices come up here, we're looking at like 5-6 to 1 on the 10 right now and 14 to 1 on the 2. So the odds discrepancy there makes me lean a little bit more toward the 2 here. But I agree with Ashley. This is a great betting race. I mean, there's a lot of different options if you do want to play the exotics here. Like I said, I like that 10 at 5 to 1, but your favorite's the 3 Ballet Dancing sitting at 2 to 1. The 6 is 9 to 1 here. I think Glenall has a little bit of a shot there at 15 to 1, the 9 horse. So you've got multiple horses in here at big numbers. If you do want to look for those trifectas or those superfectas to kind of make a big score in a short amount of time, I'm probably going to play some tries with the 10 on top here, depending on what the off odds are, and see if we can get a nice score in this race and get ourselves set up moving forward. Because that's how you win at horse racing, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And Scotty, you mentioned in the next race, in the RUNHAPPY, so that'll be race 10 here, the RUNHAPPY Malibu Stakes. You mentioned 2 horses that are prices. You like Nakatomi and Strava. What do you do when you like a horse that's 10 to 1 and another one that's 15 to 1 in the upcoming race? Are you betting doubles? Are you betting pick 3s? Are you waiting to the race and just hammering those horses? What's your betting approach?
No, you have to, especially when you have a wide open race like this here. So when I look at this race, I have no idea. I mean, I think the top win percentage is 16%. And so for that reason, I think that what I'm going to do is probably do a 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 10, 12 with a 4, 8 double. I'll probably do something like that. I won't play it big, but you don't have to play it big because you can play it small, because if that hits, you're going to make a lot of money. And there's some really, I am not the best bettor in the world. There's some really good bettors at like EquineEdge customers that I watch, and they'll bet small amounts of money to win big money. Justin Sampson, who just hit like a $12,000 pick 5, he singled the top EquineEdge pick that was like, I don't know, I want to say it was like 32% to win, but it was like 15-1 on the morning line, where everyone else got scared by the odds makers morning line. I think it was 7-1 or 8-1 in the EquineEdge morning line, but it's still, if you think about it, it's still a crazy single. But what he does is he's okay losing 3 or 4 of those in a row, but when he does hit and then he spreads, so he treats it as if he's going to win, and then he spreads out in the others, and literally his ticket was like, I want to say it was like $60. And so, I don't know, it's just a smart bet. I don't necessarily have the most discipline when it comes to that, but in this situation, I did play a daily double, and I'll play a pick 3 as well, and I'll just play it small because I can't play it big because there's too many horses. I can't really narrow it down. But if I get lucky and Nakatomi wins or the 8-horse Strava wins, then I'm looking at a really good payday. So I'm starting to look at more small bets to make bigger money. I'm trying to teach myself to do that.
I like that, and that's the thing. We're constantly evolving in the sports as handicappers and bettors. Like, I mean, what I was doing 30 years ago compared to what I was doing 20 years ago compared to what I was doing 6 months ago is completely different, and like we find out what works, and you go with that. I do want to say, as we're watching the replay here of the La Brea, you can watch this insane sort of early pace that we did not expect. There's Flavian trying to go through, and he's saying, nah, maybe I won't go through. So we'll sit back off this hot pace and give ourselves zero chance of winning this race. I do want to say, as Corey here just chimed in, his, I believe, 8-year-old son, Sammy, wants to say Merry Christmas. We appreciate that. We want to say Merry Christmas right back to Sammy. I hope you're enjoying the racing today at Santa Anita. A couple of races still left, so hang with us. We got 3 races left. We're going to pick some winners. Let us know who Sammy likes in the upcoming races. Would be
Merry Christmas to Sammy. Merry Christmas, Sammy.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, too, like sometimes overthinking stuff, but I didn't, of course, I decided to single the 4 Midnight Memories, but the top EquineEdge pick, guys, was the 6-horse Fun to Dream, and the horse was even money on the EquineEdge morning line. So there was a couple of algorithms there that were saying, hey, take a look at the 6 Fun to Dream. Ask me if I had it.
Oh man, well you got to tell us, like, is there anyone even money on this race? Who do we got even money on the allowance race?
Let's see here. All right, so
yeah, give us the odds here. What do you think?
Okay, well, ballet dancing.
You can see the odds on the left. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, ballet dancing is 3-1 on the EquineEdge morning line, and that tells you a lot too. That 3-1's the lowest morning line, and 15% to win on ballet dancing. It is the top EquineEdge pick. It's got the second top genetic strength rating. So there's a lot pointing towards the 3, but 15% top win percentage. This is a really, really tough race. And while I'll let Ashley and Mike kind of look through this, I'm looking for a long shot in here because there's a high likelihood that a long shot's going to win this race.
So Scotty, what I could do here real quick, I'm going to attempt to do this since you've hooked us up here with a little demo account here. I'm going to try to see if we can get the EquineEdge in to show people what we're talking about.
Do it. Let's do it.
And then this way we can kind of walk through it a little bit. Let's say EquineEdge share. Should have it in a moment. Is that it?
Yeah. So go to race number 8. So just go back.
We're going back a race. Yep. Okay.
Yep. Go back a race. You can sort the win percentage, but you can see there you go.
Right
so
there,
the top win percentage is the 6. The top EquineEdge pick is the 6. So those are 2 different algorithms. And then when you look at the EquineEdge morning line, you see it says even money. So there's 3 different algorithms that are pointing towards the 6 horse. And
come on, Scotty, you should have made a bigger damn pace.
I know.
Come on,
I know.
now.
So now, if you go to race number 9, you'll see that it is absolute grab bag. But there's, the morning line lukewarm is on the 3, top EquineEdge pick 3, but 15% of the 3 means the horse has an 85% chance of losing. So you know what I mean? So this is a really rough race, but a lot of people would complain about something like this. For me, it's an opportunity to find a price. And the way you might want to play this, and Mike, I would love your opinion, but what you might do is find the horse that you think could be third, right? So if you sort it, and so what I like to do is take a horse that's going to probably come from behind, and it could be a horse like the 12 horse, Karakatsi. This horse looks pretty darn good, has a nice GSR, it has some class in the race, 5-1 on the EquineEdge morning line. This is the type of horse that maybe would be first, second, or third, so you just have to bet it properly.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk for EquineEdge here as well. I actually like this product. One that I use, the longer price that jumped out to me on EquineEdge here was actually the 5 Urban Fairy Tale. I'm a big time pace handicapper. We talked about how the 2 and the 10 are the 2 horses that are going to be forwardly placed. The 5 horse is the third one in that line. If you're talking about horses going to be more up front, 8-1 on the morning line, 20-1. 28-1 right now is off odds. And this horse is one of those that has a solid strength of race rating sitting at 62 and a solid GSR as well, sitting at 67. Just a 6% win chance, but when you're looking at 6% and the horse is over 25-1, it's actually a profitable long-term hit if that percentage holds up. So if I'm looking for a long shot here that I think can hit the board, I think that the 5 Urban Fairy Tale and the 9 Glenall are the 2 horses that kind of fit that bill, both from a handicapping perspective, which is kind of how I started out, the old school DRF type style handicapping, as well as the new school algorithm style that EquineEdge kind of blends with that.
And also, Mike, to add to your point, when the top win percentage in the race is only 18% or whatever it is, 15%, when that happens, 5% doesn't look so bad, right? No. You know what I mean? But if you have a couple of horses that are 30%, 35%, now 5% doesn't look so good. I think that that if you like a horse in here, just visualize the trip. So what I like to do in a tough race like this is I like to sort the pace. So if you sort the pace, Dan, then you kind of get a clearer picture of maybe how the race might be run. Because as you know, I mean, our pace number, and I think Mike would agree, I don't think there is a better pace number that exists in horse racing. And so you can clearly see that the 2 is probably going to have the lead. It really is only the 2 and the 10. And then there's a long way back. So if they don't go flying in the beginning and they're kind of cruising, which one do you like better? And then if you don't like those 2, who's right behind that? Who's got, look at the SOR next to it. Who's right behind that maybe is going to run good? Because the pace, there's not a ton of pace in here. Is it going to be really tough for the 3 horse Ballet Dancing to get up? Only 18% win. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah. And for those who are immune to math and doing any sort of like critical thinking, you have this beautiful feature here, which is the sort of ticket maker. If your budget for this race is $30, you could just type in 30, which I love, and then boom, it shoots out a ticket. Now that's a 50-cent base. You could also change your base number. So obviously there's a little bit more spreading here, but this is a ticket where, if you remember, Scotty, when we were at Gulfstream or Santa Anita? I'm like, my mind is Santa Anita, right? We were at Santa Anita. We did that ticket. We did the golden hour ticket, and we ended up hitting for like $600 or something.
We did. Yeah, we ended up hitting that, because what you can do is you can take each leg, right? And you can adjust the ticket if you want. Like, let's just say you don't like the 3 horse. You can click on the toolbar and you can click on the 3 and exit out and go, no, I don't like that 3. And then you can regenerate. So click on the toolbar, click on the X real quickly for me.
Wait, where am I clicking exactly?
Over on the left side. Over on the left side. You'll see a toolbar down below. Right down there. Yeah, click on the X. That X right there, down below. Right there. There you go. Now go back up to the 3.
Okay.
And you can click on the 3. There you go. Click on it. On the actual check mark.
So my bad. Okay. I'm really screwing this up royally.
The close button's on the right. The close button's on the far right.
Close right below the weather.
There we go.
Okay, now regenerate. Now regenerate. Now, based on your $30 budget, if you regenerate, it'll take the 3 out and then it'll add a horse to it. So it's your own personal ticket maker. So you can make adjustments if you want.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was available. I've been using this for freaking months, and I didn't know, I didn't know that was an option.
No, you know what?
Listen,
in my own product, it took me a year and a half to get off the past performances. It just did because, we've been doing it our entire lives, and I totally get it. But I think what I did was use both in combination. So I would say I would use it for the pace number initially, or what about the GSR? Mike will tell you that the genetic strength rating, Mike's a fan of the genetic strength rating. When you have a horse going on turf for the first time, as an example, like that's an amazing, simple number to use to see, hey, is the GSR going up? What's the breeding like for this horse? Because it goes back 3 generations. I mean, no matter what tool you use, how can you not use such an accurate metric like that?
I love it. I love it. Very cool. So you're just getting a little taste here of EquineEdge. Chucky is not on the payroll, but he's a good friend, and he says the pace numbers are the best in the industry. Prince money, especially early on at Oaklawn. And we can confirm, Scotty, Chucky is not related to you. He's not a member of your team. He is actually just a fan and a handicapper who's watching this. And I know Chucky, one of the best handicappers in the game, just watching this, who's just saying that he uses the product, and it's a really good one. So you've gotten a couple of endorsements here. It really is spectacular. And like I said, whether you're somebody who really wants to,
just one other thing on this note too, that's really important. EquineEdge, it's no different. It's a tool. I just want to make sure that that's clear to everybody. This is not here to pick stuff for you. This is to guide you and to give you and show you the different metrics. Like if I was to tell you to go try to predict, here's 10 sires in a race, which one's better at this surface and distance? What are the odds that we could predict that very well? Whereas an algorithm can predict that way better than we can predict that, correct? So that's all it's doing, is giving you that information and for you to make that decision. It's all subjective. There's 100 people that would look at this race and 100 people would bet this differently.
Yep.
Thank you.
The question really does revolve, I think, around pace in this race. And Nick is asking the question that I think we've gone back to a few times here. Any chance the 2 goes gate to wire? I think Scotty certainly thinks that's a possibility. Mike, I think you lean more toward the 10 horse in this race. If I've heard you clearly, Leisure Wear, is that right?
Yeah, I lean toward the 10. I mean, Ashley brought up the point. He's 1 for 13, but that last win, or I'm sorry, she's 1 for 13, but that last win was the last start, which I think is important here. When you have those kind of career maidens, once they break their maiden, a lot of time the quote unquote light bulb goes on, and you're going to see that horse be able to run back and run well. But the pace here sets up extremely well for these 2 to be loose up front and be able to hopefully kind of dictate their own terms. And if that happens, I think the 10 is the more experienced, better horse than the 2 in this spot. I also like the fact that we've got Mike Smith and JJ Hernandez riding these 2 horses. They're not known for aggressively going forward with their horses. So this isn't a situation where when you have 2 speed horses, you expect the jockeys to both just 100% send. I think you're going to see one give in to the other, and I think that's actually a good thing for both of them.
All right. This question here, I'm going to throw to Ashley. Ashley, I believe you know this man. Long shots, anyone? He likes the 1 and the 4. What do you say, Ash?
No, it's funny. Actually, looking at the long shots, out of like when we're talking serious long shots, I'm looking at horses that are, say, 15 to 1 or more. The 4 is probably the one I looked at the most, Barrister's Ride. 3-year-old Billy, who, look at her races, her best races have arguably been at Santa Anita over the turf course. Both of her wins have been local. I like her too at the 1 1/8 distance. My concern, though, is she had a decent race last time out. But you look at other horses in the field, and this is where I go through the game of I like her, but I'm kind of talking myself off of her a bit. I'll probably still use her in a try, though, as we talked about. Maybe putting in the 3rd spot. This would be a horse to add, especially at 23 to 1 right now. My knock against her is Ballet Dancing, as well as the 11. They've both finished in front of her. You can see that in her PPs. Those have been her poor performances. But I thought last time, getting that this horse has gone a 1 1/8, gone to a mile, going to the 1 1/8. The horse likes the distance. So I didn't really look at the 1. I do think the 4 is intriguing. For me, the 6 at 9 to 1 on the board, I'm a little surprised by the odds. I thought this horse would take a bit more play, but obviously Ballet Dancing's getting kind of all the respect in here, and so is the 10. Even my favorite daughter was 6 to 1 on the morning lines, 4 to 1 on the board. This is an interesting filly who I remember when this one was at Gulfstream Park and I was working there kind of early on in her career. I was kind of intrigued by her. And then you can see her kind of downhill slide a little bit, and she was in the Jeff Angler barn, lost her for 32, and then she came back in that starter and had a pretty big win, and now going to tackle tough horses again. So that horse is taking a lot of respect in here as well. But I'm surprised by the 6. And if I'm looking at your dad's picks, I think the 4 Barristers Ride is certainly worth a spot, maybe to round out a trifecta.
He also doesn't need much encouragement. That alone, he's going to the bank. Another 200 in. Go, send it in. To confirm, Corey says Sammy is all over Taba. So if you're betting along with Sammy, Taba is your horse. Nick is wondering, he's playing in a tournament here, and he's wondering, Mike, you played a tournament or two in your lifetime. What would you do here? A double play? How would you handle this?
Yeah, I played a couple of them. Hey, Nick, how's it going? Hopefully you turn the tournament around. To me here, the 2 long shots you want to play, especially if you're looking at doubles in tournaments, are either the 5, if you really want to go crazy with Urban Fairy Tale. Horse has multiple races in the back class that are good enough to win this, getting second off a layoff, second time in the Pipey Barn, second time out here on the West Coast, was facing better on the East Coast. So I think the 5 at 22 to 1 is a massive overlay to what that actual number off odds should be. Then Ashley brought up the 6 bat. Yeah, I think the 6 is live this here as well at 9 to 1. I think that's a good one from a tournament perspective to start off a double. If you're playing tournaments, you can't go to the favorite table in the next race. You got to come up with a price. I'll make the case for Messier, who I think is the better Baffert at 7 furlongs. I think that's really the key here. Taba, I like more around 2 turns. I mean, I feel like, Dan, the only time you invite me on is when Taba's running. Obviously, we did the Haskell together there, and you brought in person after person to tell me how Jack Christopher was going to kill Taba. That went well for me until Cyberknife snuck up the inside, and then I got really upset about it. Anyway, Taba's good at 2 turns, but Taba's lazy. It just, every time you watch that horse, it takes so much to get Taba going. And in 7 furlongs, if you leave too much to do, you're not able to get there. I think Messier has a really good shot to sit right behind Forbidden Kingdom, get first jump, and not get run down today by Taba. So if I'm looking for a middling double, I'm going to go with the 6-2 cold. If I'm looking for just a massive payout, I like the 5-2 cold to try and take over the tournament.
Wow. Okay. Scotty, you know a little bit about tournaments as well. How do you approach this?
Well, I probably the 3-horse ballet dancing would be my key in probably all 3 spots. I would imagine ballet dancing is going to be first, second, or third. A long shot I like is the EquineEdge long shot. I think this horse faced better horses last time out and that optional 80, and I think it only got a 3rd place finish. I think there's going to be, with the speed of both the 2 and the 10, I think that the 9 Glenall might run a good race. The 2 and the 10, I love that speed dominance, and a speed really does well at 9 furlongs. The only thing I will say is that horses that break their maidens, and both of these horses last time out broke their maidens, right? And they only come back to win like 5% of the time. It's a very low number, and it took the 10 horse a bit of time, 13 races to finally break the maiden, and those ones are even less of a percentage. So I'm thinking, even though these are pretty dominant pace horses, I'm thinking that the 3 is going to win, and the 9 horse Glenall could run a good race.
Yeah, I'm with you, sort of on the maidens jumping up. Usually I don't touch them. We did see today, crazy enough, in the first race of the day, it was the Mathis Mile. We saw a maiden winner from the Hanson barn with Ramon Vasquez jump up and win out of maiden special weight company, out of a neck victory in maiden special weight company, going a mile on the turf, moving up into the Mathis Mile, winning as the longest shot on the board. It doesn't happen often, but it could happen. This, of course, is first level allowance company, so not nearly the same sort of deep waters we're talking about as a greatest stakes race. That being said, it's still difficult, right? I mean, it's still difficult to make that jump, and so that would be my concern with the 2 and the 10 as well, who I think, as we pointed out a couple of times, took 13 races to break that maiden. I like Glenall. I like Glenall quite a bit. I think this is a horse we've kind of been dancing around. We haven't given a real vociferous nod of support to. But Glenall, to me, whenever I see Tyler Gaffleone jumping on a horse on the turf who's kind of showing the signs that are already there, I get excited. I mean, especially, look, no knock on Joe Bravo, who will be riding the 7 horse here, my favorite daughter. and he'll also be riding what's it called, Sparkle Blue, right, in the last race. I think Joel Rosario is out. So Ashley, not in any way meant to like talk you up, because I actually like the horse as well. But Tyler Gaffalione on the turf to me is, that's an upgrade. So.
It's interesting too, Tyler's out there for opening day. The other thing that I just think this is like, we talk about this level. You got a full field, you're on the grass. We already know the competition's fierce, and there are horses, right, that are, have been in graded stakes competition. But you look at the field, some horses taking money, they've needed the class relief because there's 5 runners in the field that haven't won a race this year. This is their last shot at getting a win. And you can knock the maidens, but at least they do have those wins under their belt in their recent, where these other horses haven't found their groove yet this year. This race, I'm going to keep on looking at it. And this is the problem with these races, because you talk yourself on, you get your ticket ready, and then you're like, oh, wait, I need to add this one because this one's got a shot too. And it gets costly. But looking at the board, I mean, if ballet dancing gets third in here, still big payouts potentially in the try. I mean, this is a nice tote board if you're looking to make money. I say that, and maybe not the 3 chalks, but there's a possibility.
I'm looking at the board, and I also see this post here from my dad, who is going with a tri-key box. He's going to be throwing a couple of prices here, so I respect it. But he's keying the 10 horse, and I was like, okay, I like that. You're keying a horse that's 10-1, and then I'm looking at the odds, and I see 4-1 on Leisure Wear. I mean, what? What? 4-1? What are we
we're getting a little kooky.
Less attractive, Mike?
Yeah, we're getting a little kooky on the price here on Leisure Wear. Not the only one apparently that saw the lone speed angle here to play. Again, this is one of those horses where you got to look at the double payout, see if you're actually looking at 4-1 or if that price is going to float up a little bit, because you want 6-7-1 on the 10 here if you're really betting to win and trying to make money off it. However, to Ashley's point, this is a great betting race. If you do like a horse that's sitting at 4-1, don't be shy to put that horse on top if you're putting prices underneath. Like, I personally just punched in a $5 try, 10 over 5-9 over 5-9. If it comes 10-5-9, I'm going to be very happy, irregardless of those 4-1 odds on that 10 horse in the first spot. So when you're looking at these races in a horizontal manner versus a vertical manner versus a horizontal manner, it's okay to have that 4-1, even if it's a little over bet, if that's a horse you really like and you are playing prices underneath. If you're playing the 10-3 exactly here, then you're a little more concerned about that 4-1 price because you're really getting beat down by the money coming in.
The little Spanish I know tells me that Edgar thinks the 10 is going to win this race. And so good luck to Edgar. Both you and my dad will be very happy. SPN, Sean Patrick Nolan, likes ballet dancing. Scotty, you get the last word on this race. Any other thoughts before they get sent off for the 9th race?
I think Dettori's going for another win here with ballet dancing. I think you could just feel that he's starting to feel it, getting comfortable here. And I think he's going to find a way to get this win here with the 3. Going to save ground from the inside. And I think ballet dancing is going to get the win. Ballet dancing has had some trouble in the last last 4 races. So if this horse can get a good trip here, I think the 3 is the best horse in the race.
All right, I am with you. I'm actually 3-10-9 here. Lots of action, and this is we're not even halfway there. So enjoy this race, and coming out of this, we got the Malibu, the RUNHAPPY Malibu Stakes, and we've got the American Oaks. The comments section is beautiful right now. The comments are absolutely fire right now. If you're not in the comments, you're missing out. All right, enjoy. Oh, wait, don't enjoy it yet. Batya breaks through the gate. More and more lately, I'm seeing horses break through the gate and win races. Have you guys noticed that, or is it just me?
If I had the 6 to win, I might cancel it. But that's like old school me, right? I'm a cancel the bet if the horse breaks through the gate person. I always have been.
Traditionally, yes, but
at least that wasn't far, but yeah.
Here's the real question, though. If you punch a ticket wrong, do you cancel it?
Never.
Exactly. That's an omen. Dan and I learned that before.
All right, here we go. Ninth race from Santa Anita.
I think the biggest surprise for me right now, guys, is how close the 3 is to the pace.
Yeah, ballet dancing that forwardly place is pretty surprising. I was expecting like 8th or 9th at best.
If you look at the trouble line, this horse has had nothing but trouble. I think this is the first time this horse has actually got a clean trip. I like I said, I think the Tory is on fire right now, but that horse is sitting in a beautiful position.
I am so intrigued to see how Dettori does at this track. I know he's got a couple wins already. I'm not a huge Dettori guy, and Santa Anita can be an interesting track to ride, especially on the turf. And so I'm really interested to see how he does long term there.
He's just such a quality rider. I really think he's
Glenall, Barry, and Batches, they come to the half-mile pole. That group is followed by my favorite daughter, who is in hand at this stage. Karakatsi is trying to move through a narrow opening along the fence. A 3-wide Clada Cure is racing on the outside of Almost a Factor. Rounding the far turn, Precious Baby getting some serious heat now as Leisure Wear takes the lead away from her, immediately tackled by Ballet Dancing, who's cut loose at the quarter pole, and Ballet Dancing makes a nice move for the front. Leisure Wear is a half length back in second. 3 more to Urban Fairy Tale in third, followed by Barrister's Ride, who's finishing with some interest outside my favorite daughter and Karakatsi. It's Ballet Dancing and Frankie Dettori for a riding triple. Ballet Dancing much the best.
Good Lord, Frankie Dettori.
It was just such a good ride. I mean, this is the first time in at least the last 3 or 4 races that this horse has had a good trip and showed a lot more speed than we. I mean, this horse had the lowest speed number or pace number for us. I mean. And when you look at the horse, it's probably the best closer and is that close in the race without even being asked. You kind of felt like it was over from the beginning.
Yeah, interesting first-time blinkers, whether or not that made the difference there. Callahan just 7% as a trainer, first-time blinkers, but that was listed there, although I don't really see the blinkers very much there. I think you hit the nail on the head there, Scotty. This horse being forwardly placed and is placed with a slow pace up front made all the difference in the world today.
I mean, like Frankie Dettori just coming to California, winning 3 races. I mean, this is the one I told you, right? Simon Callahan, he's got something live. Frankie, you're riding. We're going to give you a winner today. Like, that seemed automatic. I thought he moved too early on the horse, actually. I mean, yes, it was a nice ride. He sat behind the pace. He got the horse forwardly placed, put him in position because he wasn't closing from that far off of it. But I thought he moved too early. But still, the horse was that good. It didn't matter.
Well, I think, too, just looking at the field, I mean, she did finish 5th in the Del Mar Oaks, grade 1, behind Spenderella and even her try in the grade 3. I got lucky, though. I got nervous. I kind of smack-talked the 7, and I needed the 4 to hang on for 3rd for the try. So I think your dad's happy as well with him kind of keying that 10 all over in the tries.
Did we confirm? Did he hit it? He hit it.
He did hit it. The other thing I'll say, I mean, obviously, Ballet Dancing much the best. I still think just, looking at the trip Karakatsi got was brutal. And I kind of mentioned that was probably what was going to happen out of the 12 hole. And it was absolutely horrible. She actually ran pretty well, I think, in the end and kind of hit her stride late. Obviously, though, it was a long way back to 5th in there. But, yeah, I mean, the way I structured my try here, honestly, you guys talked to me on the speed, but I thought speed wouldn't hold. So when I played it, I mentioned I like the 3, 6, and the 12. I put the 2 and the 10 in the second spot. And then I used the 3, 4, 6, 12 underneath. So. Yeah, Leisure Wear ran a really good race, though. You think about this horse. I mean, talk about consistency. I thought that's a huge, kind of performance facing winners for the first time.
Yeah, this is one I would actually. I would stable up the 10 Leisure Wear back here because didn't get the lead. It was kind of getting that trip of death, 2 wide around both turns. Then the 2 quits out, immediately faces a much better horse right to the outside, and then still has the fight to hold on for second. It says a lot. And when you look at the actual race on paper, it doesn't look that impressive. But when you take into account who beat the horse and the fact that we broke from the 10 post, weren't able to get over, and then face that immediate pressure once we took the lead, I think this is a sneaky good race for the 10 Leisure Wear that I'd be interested in betting this horse back.
That try for $1 pays $2.64. I don't know if you had it 50 cents or $1, but congrats, Ashley. Nice hit. Like I said, you and Max, drinks are on you. So congrats. Nicely done. And as I pointed out here with this this is Nick with the You get 25 to 1 here on this exacta.
Wow.
I mean, this is a pretty straightforward exacta, right? I mean, it was down to 2 or 3 horses that we kept talking about over and over again. 25 to 1. Where are you getting 25 to 1 betting anything? 25 to 1 on, I mean, to be completely accurate, 23.8 to 1. But not bad at all. Scotty, observations, thoughts?
No, it was. I mean, that exacta is just incredible. I think that, you know, looking at the 3 horse, it didn't look like it had speed. It had disappointed a few times, burned a little bit of money, but I think the blinkers added, like Mike was talking about earlier, alluded to, was the difference. And the horse didn't have any issues. And I think this horse can come back to win at the next level.
Yep. That was impressive.
That's 3 wins, by the way, for Frankie as well.
Has he done 3 flying dismounts? I'm a little worried about him at this stage of the game, jumping off horses. I hope he hasn't done 3. He can't do them every time, does he? It's just like, oh, geez, he's doing it. I'm a little worried about this guy.
They got a little harder winning his winner circles over here, too. They're not landing in grass like you are in Europe.
Exactly. I don't know about this. Here's an interesting one as we transition to the RUNHAPPY Malibu. I would like to see Forbidden Kingdom run big next race. Do you remember Forbidden Kingdom? Do we remember Forbidden Kingdom? I mean, this horse was like the horse, 8 months ago in March? Forbidden Kingdom was everything. And then what happened? I mean, just, you know, I mean, we saw they tried to, you know, send the horse a bit longer. It didn't work. And they cut the horse back. Didn't work. Do you think, and Mike, we were together that day, were we not?
We were not, but I was happy to talk about it.
Together.
Yeah, Forbidden Kingdom was all the rage.
Let's pretend we were together that day. I thought we were together that day.
Forbidden Kingdom was all the rage early in the Triple Crown season. You see this every single year where everyone gets Triple Crown fever. You have sprinters that try and stretch out the 2 turns. Sometimes it works on speed favoring tracks, especially going a mile and 16th. That's what we saw the first time that Forbidden Kingdom stretched out. But they really need to get back to those 6 furlong, 7 furlong distance. The Santa Anita Sprint Championship was a really tough race. I mean, you thought Forbidden Kingdom would run better than he did that day. A nice improvement second time off the layoff, that $100,000 allowance. Kind of makes you wonder if you needed one there. Now it's third off the layoff. Look, Teba sitting at 1 to 5. Probably the best horse in here. I'm sure Sky's going to tell us that's the highest win percentage in EquineEdge. Absolutely no interest in betting to win at 1 to 5, though. It's just way too low of a price in this spot for me.
Well, for what it's worth, I think Forbidden Kingdom could run a good race. Here's my take on what maybe has happened to Forbidden Kingdom. So gets in the Santa Anita Derby, goes 9 furlongs, did not want to go 9 furlongs, ran terrible, and hence the layoff. Comes back in October, didn't run terrible. That was a nice grade 2 field. Then gets an easier field second time off the layoff, almost wins that race. That was a $100,000 optional claiming. Now getting back to a grade 1 against 3-year-olds, actually, in fact. So at the end of the year here, I think the only issue this horse is going to have, this horse is going to run a good race. I don't see a win coming. This horse was 12 to 1 on the EquineEdge morning line. The 9's very fast. This horse needs a lead, but I do think Forbidden Kingdom will bounce back here. And I think Forbidden Kingdom will have a good year.
Well, I'm just going to pull it up just to confirm Mike's suspicions. Teba is 23% to win this race. Forbidden Kingdom is 19%. So we do have that. Anything else you'd like to direct our eyes to, Scotty, that might be of interest?
So I will say this, right? This is one of the reasons also why I didn't like Teba is that when you look at the win percentages, you know, you're probably thinking, I was thinking I'd see 40% here. I didn't think that I would see such a lukewarm win percentage on Teba, right? So 1 to 5 right now on a horse that's 23%. No, thank you, and really has a lot to prove at this distance. It is the top EquineEdge pick, but this is a really nice field. So, you know, I'm really surprised how dead Nakatomi is, but this horse has done very well. It's lightly raced, 4 wins in 8 tries. You know, we could see a bomb here, guys. This is, even Mike was saying Messier. I wouldn't be surprised.
Scotty, give me a reason not to play the Golden Hour pick 4.
No, it's fantastic. I think the payout's going to be great. I would give you no reason. You see that there? By the way, there you go.
Here's a $60 ticket. Just bet it, folks. Bet it.
Just play it. You know what you would do there for me? I would take the one out of the win spot, because if you're right about your change, right? So you go, nope, you just go down to the box, the X.
Yeah.
There you go. Now go click in the middle of the box on the check mark. No, there you go.
There we go.
Okay,
I'm
now
learning.
Now regenerate. Because if you're right about your changes, then you're giving yourself a way better chance of winning.
You know, what's wild to me is that when you regenerate that, every time they're going 5 deep in that first leg, it tells you even with that short price of 1 to 5 on Teba, that is a spread leg based on the percentages of what you're seeing from the software, which tells you that that's a great way you can make money. In these legs where you have a 1 to 5, the horse will go off probably at 3 to 5 is my guess. If you can beat that horse in pick 4 and pick 5 sequences, that's how you make money. If you can beat multiple of those and kind of string it together, like I said, Teba best shot to win, but not one I want to use at this price.
And look what they're doing. Look, guys, look at the 7 horse over at Golden Gate Fields race number 11. That's 212. The horse is 32% to win. It's the top pace number. It's the top GSR, and it's even money on the EquineEdge morning line, and the system is singling it. So that might be a really good single to finish off the golden hour.
So Dan, you're punching this, right? That's why you took this off the screen for a second, because we're gonna go have these on it, right?
Am I late? I think I might be late. Are they? Where are they? Are they loading in? Ashley, can you? I'm good for it. I mean, if you could put it in for me, like I'll totally get you back later. No, I'm kidding. Don't put it in. Don't put it in.
Okay, well, I'm gonna take a picture of it though.
We can come back to it later.
I'm taking a picture right now. Okay. So then I can send this to you like every day for the next week and be like, shoulda, coulda, woulda. You wait.
You know it's gonna come out. You know it's coming out.
That's what I'm telling you, right?
I like that they're using Ashley's 2 horse in the third.
That's why I like the ticket. I got
there we go.
I have my confidence that I needed.
All right, we know it's coming out, so that's that. A lot of great comments here in the comments section. Let's see. John Piasek. Don't forget, Forbidden Kingdom had a throw-it issue in the Santa Anita Derby. No idea if he would have won or not, but think he can be discounted going 2 turns in the future. But don't think he can be discounted. Okay, so there's that. Tracy also likes Forbidden Kingdom a little bit. The hot hand here from Brooklyn also likes Forbidden Kingdom a little bit. And doubling down, Teba's overbet. Okay, let's see. I had Messier in the Derby, the 2 Japanese ran him in the ground. He bled last race against Nakatomi. Yeah, Messier is a tough one. Messier is a tough one. Scotty, you got Todd here saying, what's up? Happy holidays.
Hey, Todd.
Only to you, not to us. He doesn't want to wish us happy holidays at all. So, no, happy holidays. We're just kidding, Todd. Yeah, I mean, what do we? I mean, Messier. What do we do with Messier? I don't know. I don't even know. I just did he just get like demoralized? Like kind of is his heart not in it anymore? Is that what it is? Anybody?
I mean, I guess I'll defend Messier because I'm using Messier in this spot. Look,
yeah, you are using it. Go ahead, you make the case.
I liked Messier in the Derby. I thought he actually ran a good Derby to make the lead at the top of the stretch and then just kind of faded off it. This is one of those horses, we saw it a lot with the horses that left the Bob Baffert barn there for a couple months where they just didn't run as well right off the bat. They didn't run as well when they were in the new barns. And then that first race back was not great in the Baffert barn. And then you started to see steps forward after that. It's exactly what I think we're seeing from Messier here. That last race, yeah, it was not great. And that is a concern. But it was the first time off a long layoff back in the barn, was bet. As mentioned in the chat, the horse bled, so there's built-in an excuse there. Now you're getting second off the layoff. I like the confidence here. I think it's a good sign that when you have Teba, who is sitting on the board at 3 to 5, and the trainer says, well, 1 to 5 right now, and the trainer says, you know what? I've got this other horse who was, by the way, considered a better horse in the spring. And I'm going to put him right back in this grade 1 to close out the year as well. It shows confidence from Bob Baffert here to put Messier in this spot and put him back here. I actually don't mind the trip. I think he can stalk and pounce. I think that's the trip he's going to get. We've talked about the 1 and the 9. They're both going to go. The 2 is the next fastest. Messier will sit right behind the 1 and the 9. He gets first run, and then it's whether or not Teba can chase him down in my mind.
The Messier, the 2 horse here, currently 10 to 1, up from a 6 to 1 morning line. The 1 is Forbidden Kingdom at 9 to 1. Forbidden Kingdom at 9 to 1. Wild. The 3, Apprehend, is 40-1 currently off an 8-1 morning line. The 4 Nakatomi, who Scotty has made the case for multiple times, 14-1 currently. The 5 Hoist the Gold, 50-1. Taiba, 1-5. The 7 Perfect Flight, 40-1. The 8 Strava, another one of Scotty's long shots, at 50-1. And the 9 Straight No Closer, interesting, is taking a little bit of early money down from 20-1 in the morning line to be 12-1 currently. Oh my God, the spamming of the chat is out of control today. Come on, folks. Come on. This is my, okay, so here, so Colin, this is great. So Colin is actually next door. He's not even next door, he's in the room on the other side of this wall. Colin today, he's one of our good friends. He's here. They're in from Maryland. They came for the holidays and they decided they were going to day drink. So they ended up getting drunk. So they decided, you know what, let's stay one more day. So they're not going home. So Colin and Angela are here for the night. And as you can see here, Colin is sharing his bets because he feels somewhat emboldened. Today, I signed him up for an ADW, his first online betting account. So he's been betting horses today. And so far, no winners. And I know he's watching in the room next door, so we got to help him out. I wonder, though, when you guys are trying to help new players, Ashley, like, do you just give them a 1-5 winners? They say that they won, or do they need to? I hear him cry. Do you hear him laughing next? Or do you want them to win big? Like, what's your approach with newbies?
I mean, I think it's tough because I feel like I've been at tracks and people ask me, they see me on a machine, and whoever it is, they're like very confused. They don't know what to do. It's overwhelming. And
he's confused. He's very confused.
But I also think, I don't know, maybe this is just me. Like, I think part of the fun when you're like a newcomer at the track, right? I mean, some people just want to make money. I mean, at 1-5 though, you aren't really making money, especially if you're first time at the track and you're not putting boatloads in, right? Like, I'm not telling these people to bet, $4,000 to show on a horse, right? To make nothing, right? On the dollar. So I always try to just, talk to people and see what, who they like and explain betting rather than the pick off the bat, just because I don't know, when I was a kid, I mean, yes, my dad taught me how to read the daily racing form and that was the whole thing. But when I was little, it was just like, I picked 2 horses and they're box and exactas. And, then my allowance grew and I could do 3 horse boxes. I think it's more fun to explain how to bet. And then I think people typically, they might ask you, the next question is, who do you like? Or they may just kind of have their own reasons, whether it's the name of the horse or what the horse looks like, or maybe they ask you how to read the program. So I think the hardest thing is just getting, explaining how to wager. And I still, win, place, and show is, typically where newbies, they start. And then afterwards you can, get a little bit more complicated.
Yeah, he was betting based on names earlier, and the first horse he picked was 40-1 and finished last. So it's, I mean, on the plus side, you can't do any worse than that. So, I was like, okay, good, look, this is good. You've experienced, the worst of it. But we got to give a little bit of a taste. And so a bunch of people here have opinions in the comment section, starting with JD. And I wanted to throw the only bet you need this race is a $5 trifecta. So if you're watching out there, this is a $20 bet. We're using 6 over 4 over 3, 5, 7, 8. So JD does like Taiba on top, Nakatomi in second, and then you got 4 horses behind them to kind of finish up that try. Let's see, a couple more opinions. Todd likes the 9. Hasn't seen the greater field, may not know he's running in big company and go gate to wire. And then we had another opinion in here. Try 9 all kaboom time. Yeah, potentially. I like that. What's the story with the 9? Who wants to explain to me why straight no closer, no chaser is getting so much love?
Because of that speed, most likely, but it's going to be I would be really surprised to see this horse step up and win this race. I mean, this horse was actually slowing up against an optional claiming non-winners of 1. And you never like to see that, and did it going gate to wire. The only but positive maybe you can give this horse is on the rail the last couple of times and gets off. But it certainly looks like this horse is a front runner, and Forbidden Kingdom is very, very fast. Like I said, I see I don't even think it's close. I think the 1 and the 9 are going to be dueling on the lead. Messier is the interesting one. I'm kind of getting on this. One, I respect Mike a ton, but I think it looks like maybe Messier can rate a little bit. Had to have needed that last race. And if Bob Baffert thinks this horse belongs here, then maybe this horse is doing better. Obviously, off a long layoff last time out, needed that last race.
Yeah, it should improve your second out. As far as the 9, I think it's a tough spot. I get it. You got a ton of speed out there. It's all about Forbidden Kingdom. If Forbidden Kingdom for some reason doesn't break, I could see the 9 taking this field or trying to take this field gate to wire. It's a big step up, though. So I think it's a tall ask there. I want to answer your question about the newbies at the racetrack real quick. Love me some show parlays. If you're not doing show parlays the first time you bring people to the racetrack or to Vegas, because a show parlay in a Vegas sportsbook, one of the best ways to get free drinks. If you just take $20, run to the window, bet to show, they'll give you 1 drink ticket. You run back. If you hit it, you run up there for $24, $25, whatever it is, bet another show, you get another drink ticket. You can have an absolute blast. It's a great way to cash tickets. And then if you kind of set up a fund of, let's say, $200 with you and your 4 or 5 friends that are there, and you bet, pick 4s, pick 5, daily doubles, things like that could blow up the tote board. It's a really fun way to get everyone involved. You get the cash tickets, and you have a big shot to winning big. So I love me some show parlays.
Yeah, no, I love the show parlays as well. I've seen like my wife get into that big time. She's got a group of friends now at the track. When they go, they all pool their money. And then, you have a day. I mean, you're having drinks, you're having fun, and it's like, oh yeah, we got to go up and make this bet. And then, you know what, we lose. All right, well, let's go back and start roll it back again. So it's so much fun. I love the show parlay as well. Okay, so
Dan, one other comment.
It didn't sound like anybody.
I want to interrupt real quick.
Please.
In the comments, there's some questions about Straight Now Chaser, right? And you look at the morning line. He was the longest shot on the morning line. Obviously, with the 1 to 5 shot, we know the pool, the money's all over the place. Elsewhere, everyone's but it's a lot of money is on the 6. Just something else to know, and I'm sure Scotty and Mike and even Dan, you kind of pay attention to this, but I always have to remind myself, always to, when you see my racehorse horses in a field, always something to consider as well, which is one of the beautiful things of it is it's gotten a lot of people into the game. And, I've actually met people and I'm like, that's what they bring up. I own a couple shares in horses, which is great, but I've seen it time and time again. It does, change the odds when there are a lot of people that have, micro shares in these horses. Just something to note, because like I said, this horse was the longest shot on the morning line. He's not the longest shot on the board.
And if I might add to that, Dan, real quickly, the 9 horse is 7-1 on the EquineEdge morning line, and then also the top EquineEdge pick will be in the first, second, or third 77% of the time. To add to Mike's point, that if you play the show parlay and you take somebody new, I think the most important thing is for that person to have a good experience. And so I always tell them, take the top EquineEdge pick and make a show bet.
I like that. All right. Look, I think, especially when you find a price there too, like for me, as I'm looking at this I get, I don't think any of us are on Straight No Chaser, but to the point you made, Ashley, about my racehorse, does that make Forbidden Kingdom look even worse then? Like he's sitting at 7-1. That's a my racehorse horse too. Why is he 7-1 off the 3-1 morning line?
I mean, again, I just think there's when you have a 2 to 5 shot, you're going to see 7-1. And in this case, it's going to be second choice on the board. I mean, it's just depending what's in the pools there. But I know what you're saying. They're not that far off if you really want to think about it in terms of money. I don't know. I mean, going back to the Forbidden Kingdom thing, I didn't really chime in, but we were there together at Santa Anita Derby Day at Santa Anita. And, he was hyped. But I agree kind of what everyone was saying about he came back in that tough race. The Santa Anita Sprint Challenge. I mean, CZ Rocket was second in there and had a pretty good year, I think, except for maybe the Pat O'Brien. I mean, it was a tough race. And then last time out, he did improve second off the layoff, which is what you would hope. So you'd hope now even maybe third start off that bit of a freshening can suit him well. But that just kind of mentioning CZ Rocket was the other thing, kind of looking at other runners in this field that we haven't really spoke about yet, but Apprehends one that raced at, Zia Park last time out. And this is a horse that actually, when you go down the page, I thought ran a pretty good race to CZ Rocket several starts back. And I know we still got to, give Scotty some time about the 4, but the 4 is still intriguing. I mean, this is an interesting tote board to kind of examine closer outside of Taba.
Yeah, take it away, Scotty. Tell us more about Nakatomi that you like.
Well, I mean, I really do think the 1 and 9. I think the 1's going to have a decent year. The 9 is so fast, gets off the rail that and the 9 has only one way of going. I didn't realize though, and I think it's interesting that that my racehorse actually owns both the 9 and the 1. Like they're two different trainers, but are they going to duel? I mean, I don't know. But Nakatomi sits a really nice trip. It's dead on the board. It's equal to the odds makers morning line, John White. It is 6-1 on the EquineEdge morning line. It's the second choice next to Taiba. The betting is crazy. There's Strava right there, the 8 horse. That's my long shot play. This horse is 34-1 right now. This horse can definitely outrun those odds.
Tell us more.
Well, if you look here, so this horse last time out over at Churchill Downs, like the fact that Dollar Stewart brings this horse here, Flavian Pratt jumps aboard, but this horse just pulled away last time out to win for fun. The time before that, you can throw that race out. Just for whatever reason, put in a clinker. And this horse is going to be, somewhat, I think, going to be maybe about 4th or 5th and set a good trip. So let's just say the 9 and 1 do duel. Let's just say the 2 maybe is still no good. The 3 is the next fastest horse and doesn't look good to me at all. Then the 8 horse just sits perfectly, and that's the first horse to maybe get a first run. So I think that Strava has the class here as well. I think that it's a horse you have to look at, and then there's Nakatomi right there. So this is a very interesting race when you look past Taiba, like Ashley was saying.
So I have a quiz question. I just want to get guesses from everyone because I was actually shocked by the number. So when I started looking at Nakatomi, who I do like this horse, I was like, okay, Wesley Ward, dirt horses, okay. How many he has started between Del Mar and Santa Anita the past 5 years?
I think it's one hand. I'm going to go 4.
It is.
I went 4.
It's 4, right? In the last 2 years, it's one horse. They've all started in stakes races, the Best Pal, the La Brea, the Sorrento, and one of the California Breeders' races. The best finish out of all of them, there was 2 4th-place finishes. So it's something that he doesn't do all the time, which you look at all that and you're like, oh my God, she just sold me not to play this horse. But I just think this is an intriguing spot to see Wesley take a shot. It's not like he's facing, there's some good horses in the field and he still goes out there for it. That actually doesn't, talk me off the horse, but I just thought it was interesting. I mean, I would have guessed, I don't know, at least double that, maybe 8 or 9 before. It's not a lot for an outfit that we all know has a lot of horses.
That's a little surprising it's that low because I respect those East Coast trainers when they ship in West Coast, specifically on turf. Obviously, the Chad Browns, Pletchers, when they come in on turf, you got to watch out. On dirt, the West Coast is a little bit, they're more formidable when you're looking at these sprint distances, especially with this 3-year-old crop. But man, it's surprising it is just 4 horses. It makes you kind of wonder in this type of spot, okay, is this really a spot he's been prepping for all year? It's definitely not something he's targeting if he's only shipped 4 horses to California in that long of a period.
And then he's on the turf. He's 7 for 27 at Del Mar and Santa Anita the past 5
Which makes perfect sense, right? Like that's the dirt, I'm surprised.
But I don't know. I still think with the trips that he's gotten some good trips, this horse, and might get the setup that he needs. We've talked, there's speed in here. There's no joke about that.
You got the 4 post too. 4 horses, 4th best finish, 4 posts. It's all lining up.
Matt F, multiple M's. Matt loves Nakatomi. Or maybe not loves, but it's like at 14-1. I'm going to use this horse, of course. Lots of great comments here. Sean, I'm not sure about this one. Are they using the race as a prep? I don't know what. Are they prepping for like what? Like is this kind of like a tightener for the Pegasus World Cup or something? Like what? How do you guys take that? Do you think there's any reason to think that the intent here is not to win?
I don't think you prep in grade 1s often, especially at the end of the season like this. So I would be surprised. It may have been added to his schedule, a race that they didn't originally plan on, but because he's been so phenomenal and they came out of the Breeders' Cup good, it's a grade 1 at the end of the year. Why not take a shot? But I would expect he's ready to roll. Yeah.
Chucky asking the same thing we were just kicking around was like the 2 speed horses, the 2 my race horses in the same race. we'll see how that unfolds. Obviously, we don't expect them to both be at each other's throats here. Our buddy Steve checking in. He wants the 5 horse. He's a little greedy. He wants 35 to 1 or nothing at all. So give him Hoist the Gold at 35 to 1. Also note that Joel Rosario, I can't remember if we mentioned this or not. He's actually not on his mount today. He's not feeling well. So he's off. And oh, you did mention, because I mentioned Sparkle Blue will have Joe Bravo, which I was super excited about, actually. So we got that coming up to look forward to in the finale. And then we have one other question here, once again going back to contest talk and sort of strategy, if I can find it. It's from CJ. And Mike, he's addressing this to you specifically. Played my first tourney today. Do you have a thought process for who you bet in each race? No favorites, a mix of favorites at mid prices, all long shots. What do you think?
I'm assuming it's going to be win place, just based on the way that if it's your first tournament, that's generally the first tournament you play. So it's mythical win place wagers. You pick one horse in a race. To me, the first thing you have to look at is what's the goal. So are you at NHC and you're trying to win versus 400 people? Are you in a feeder where one of every 5 moves on and gets the exact same prize? Are you in a cash tournament where you're trying to beat 100 people? The more people you have to beat, the more aggressive you have to be with long shots, because they have to have those bigger prices, and you got to avoid 3 to 2 shots, because you're losing a chance when you play a 3 to 2 shot and there's a 10 to 1 shot that wins that race. People are going to have it, and it really hurts you to be down $30 in that situation. So if it's a mythical win place and there's a lot of people in the tournament, you got to be taking chances. When I'm playing bigger tournaments, I'm not playing anyone under 5 to 1, and I'm usually only playing 1 or 2 5 to 1 shots. Everything else is between 10 and 20 to 1 morning line. And one of the best things that you can do, especially in pick and pray, essentially where you have to make all your selections before, is learn to understand what horse they're going to get back. Because there's nothing worse than picking a 10 to 1 shot that goes off at 5 to 2 and loses, when the other horse you liked that was 15 to 1 in the morning line goes off at 12 to 1 and wins. It's wildly frustrating, but you have to learn what horses are going to get bet. How do I avoid those? But you got to make sure you're taking some stabs if you're playing these pick and prays or these mythical win place tournaments.
As they load into the gate for the RUNHAPPY Malibu, let's go bottom to top. Start with Scotty. Scotty, real quick, late double here. Who are you going with?
I'm going to use the 4 and the 8 Nakatomi. I would probably throw Teba in there, of course, and I would probably use Pizza Bianca. That's going to go with my long shot there, the 8 horse in the 11.
Okay, Mike.
2 with 2-7.
Ashley.
I mean, Taiba looks tough, but that double is going to pay nothing. So I'd be in Scotty's team. I'd use the 4 here, and I love the 2 in the last, which is the thing I repeat all day long.
All right. I'm with you, though. RUNHAPPY Malibu Stakes going up right now.
Is out of the gate very quick with Strava in second. And now here's Forbidden Kingdom flashing his early foot, and Forbidden Kingdom is up to take the lead pretty easily. Perfect Flight is up and on the pace between rivals. Straight No Chaser just outside of him. Teba is 1 from the rail. Apprehend on the fence, just 3 lengths off the lead, followed by Hoist the Gold, racing on the inside of Strava. Messier second to last, and Nakatomi at the back. 8 lengths covers them as they chase Forbidden Kingdom past the half-mile pole. He has a 3-length lead on Teba second. Straight No Chaser to the outside third. Apprehend a ground-saving 4th. He's 4 lengths off the lead. Then Hoist the Gold, inside Perfect Flight. Strava inching up just outside of that pair, followed by Nakatomi and Messier at the back. 1/4 mile to go. Forbidden Kingdom, Teba, and Straight No Chaser. 3 of them across the track as they turn for home. Teba between horses. Straight No Chaser running the race of his life. These 2 will arrive at the 8th pole together. Hoist the Gold is finishing with interest on the outside. So is Nakatomi. A 16th to go, and Teba starts to pull away late. It's Teba, absolutely terrific in winning the RUNHAPPY Malibu by 4 widening lengths. Forbidden Kingdom was second. Then it was Hoist the Gold in front of Nakatomi. The running time, a crisp 1:21.75.
As racehorse time.
Yeah. Hey, nice call on those 2 long shots, kind of rallying on the outside, but they had too much to do late. Teba, I guess we should probably have that discussion. Should we have that discussion? Should we wait a moment? This discussion? Anyone want to touch it?
I mean, the problem is, what's Taiba's biggest win?
Yeah.
How can you take it away from a horse that won the Travers, a horse, Epicenter's got to be that horse, right? With the Travers win, second Derby, second in the Preakness. Taiba, the best two-turn win for Taiba was what, the Pennsylvania Derby?
Yeah, Cyberknife was in there, right? So yeah, I mean that'd be his best win.
And Zandon.
Well, everyone beats Zandon.
Everybody does. That horse the biggest money burner there is.
No, that's why I mentioned Cyberknife.
yeah. No,
I think honestly,
I welcome the ridicule. Exactly,
guys. I just really don't think this was that strong of a field. I really don't. At the end of the day, Taiba did his job. Taiba's a nice horse, and I don't think this was a strong field. To be honest with you, for me, the most impressive horse in the race, after breaking very slow from the rail and rushing up, didn't have the lead. I think Forbidden Kingdom's back. Ran a huge race.
He did.
It was fun to watch him actually on the backside, right? His ears, he looked pretty comfortable once he actually got going. And then to me, as I would say, he looked a little cooked, kind of getting into the turn. He was losing a little bit of position. Taiba was ears pinned, trying to really grind at it. And it looked like Mike early in the race had to kind of ride him a little bit. Maybe he's just kind of one of those, a little bit lazy early on. But I thought Forbidden Kingdom then to kind of come back on. Yes, Taiba was much the best. Forbidden Kingdom ran a really strong races. I agree.
Really
Max called it cold. Nice job there. Tell me there wasn't a moment where you all were like, oh God, Straight No Chaser might win this race. He looked good for a second there. And Frank's like, he's running the race of his life. I was like, no, we're going to all look like idiots.
Yeah, to me, what happens is, sorry, Mike, what happens is if you look at his class number, it's lower. And I think what happens is it's a very nice horse, very honest, ran good, and it got late because the just not at this level, I think.
Yeah, I think he almost sent a lot of people to the liquor cabinet. And it was a massive race from Straight No Chaser there to be able to make the lead essentially, or at least press Taiba at the top of the stretch. But then, like Scotty said, the class kicked in. And, when that horse is trying to go 22-44 against this caliber of horses, it doesn't usually end well. And that's kind of what we saw there with Straight No Chaser.
Stevie likes modern games. He's like, don't even bother me with this type of nonsense. And then John says Steve is right. And then Steve says, John P., you the man. A little bromance here in the chat. Okay. What do we think of modern games? I feel like there's critical mass now for modern games being the selection.
I think it's the question of, are you voting for the best 3-year-olds or are you voting for the most accomplished 3-year-old, right? It's the MVP question in the NBA as well. Is it the best player or the person who meant the most to his team or had the best season? Because modern game's probably the most talented 3-year-old horse we have in the world right now, but that doesn't necessarily win you horse of the year.
There's Mikey again. What a shocker. Mike Smith in the winner's circle in a grade 1 at Santa Anita. It is incredible, right? I mean, I know it's Mike Smith. We're accustomed to it. Literally between him and Dettori today, I mean, combined age of 115. They've won every race.
Well, what's nice to see is that honestly, I thought Mike was done a year ago. I really did. I didn't feel like he was riding that great. And over the last 3 or 4 months, he's just really come on. So I couldn't be happier for him.
Yeah, and I think once you reach a certain age, I'm not going to say my age specifically, but once you reach a certain age, you really do gain a respect for being able to do that kind of thing in your early to mid 50s. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, walking gets challenging at a certain point. So literally riding a horse at that high level is absolutely remarkable. And Mike Smith is still doing it. Now, granted, he's getting on some pretty spectacular horses, but he's getting them there. He's still doing the job. So Lawman here said, don't forget the table won the Santa Anita Derby also. We have not forgotten. That was definitely one of his stronger performances. What's next? I don't know. I don't know what's next for him exactly. Any guesses here in the room? Can he go to the Pegasus? Is he going to the Pegasus? Is that even?
I honestly didn't see him on any of kind of the releases, like the early sort of releases that have gone out. I didn't see his name dropped. I saw Cyberknife, a couple other horses as well that were mentioned, but I didn't remember reading about him. Which it does bring up an interesting discussion though, because you look at his races, right? And you start thinking about what would be also maybe on the list, right? When you start thinking about early 2023, Bob is not afraid to send horses to Dubai and Saudi. Yep. The question with him would be the 1.25 miles, because he didn't fare too well in the Derby, but it's the Derby, so you can probably excuse that when you have 20 horses in the starting gate, and then you go to the Breeders' Cup Classic, where I actually thought he ran a really great race. I really do think he was third, but Olympiad was second in there. He wasn't too far behind Olympiad in the end, so I don't think the distance, when you talk about him, I don't think the 1.25 miles would be as concerning as to say if Life is Good is still around. I don't think Life is Good wants to go 1.25 miles. I think he's 1 1/8 miles. So I would have to think that, he might be going overseas for a race.
I don't see why you don't send him to the Pegasus. I mean, I agree. Ashley's dead on. We haven't seen his name on the press releases at all, or seen anything in the pre-entries that show that he's going to. But he's the best older horse going 2 turns right now. He's the best older horse going 7 furlongs once the calendar flips here to the new year. So I wouldn't be shocked if you start to hear some Taba to the Pegasus here, because it's a logical next spot for him. Ashley's also dead on. I would be shocked if we don't see him overseas as well. The person in those races, considering the ownership group and the trainer, it seems like that one's going to definitely happen.
Scotty, what does your crystal ball say?
Well, for me, it would be the Pegasus. So I would imagine we'll see Taba in the Pegasus. And Mike makes a good point too. I mean, if probably this horse is going to be, one of the leading, older horses, if you consider 4 years old, older next year. So one easy here. I don't know, not my favorite, because I really think this was a weak field, but I don't know that the older horse division is going to be that strong next year. We'll see what happens. But and so for me, if I own Taba, I would go straight to the Pegasus.
All right, we still have one race left. I want to remind people this is Boxing Day bets, Santa Anita Park, opening day, presented by America's Best Racing. And it's also Ashley Mailloux's time to shine. She's been waiting for race 11 very patiently now for the past 2.5 hours. This is her bet of the day. So stand by for that. We're going to watch that. We're going to bet it with Ashley. We're going to make some money. So don't go anywhere. A couple of comments here. Todd Nims, who was on this 9 horse, like no one's business, straight no chaser, wanted to alert us and remind us that the horse actually ran a massive race, which I would agree with. Was up there, willing to run early. Was obviously gassed and made the also-rans look okay, he says on Taiba. I wouldn't have any confidence in the also-rans going forward. I think that's fair. I mean, you got a couple of decent horses in there, but, you have a clear-cut best horse in this race. Let's see. We've got the Traveler, who likes the Saudi Cup. Lawman says Taba's only bad race was in the Derby, so he's a strong contender for top 3-year-old. His stats are strong for top honors in that division. Gerard, Taba didn't duck any horses this year, so some support in the chat, right? I mean, the horse just won a race pretty impressively, won a grade 1 like it was easy. So obviously, I'm not surprised that a lot of people are behind him at this particular moment. We'll see. The voting for the Eclipse Awards and top 3-year-old wraps up in about a week from now, and then they make the announcements at the Eclipse Awards, which I believe are on like the 25th or the 26th. It's a few days before the Pegasus World Cup, so about a month from now. So we'll find out soon enough.
Got one other thing. I did some digging here, and something interesting to note. We've talked about. He's not mentioned anywhere in the Pegasus sort of write-ups that we've seen at the early stages. You're still a month out from the race, so You look at the last, runners that Bob has sent to the Pegasus. Mucho Gusto, who we all know won it back in 2020, collected in West Coast. The difference with Taiba, something to note, is kind of lightly raced in terms of his campaign this year. So he did have that bit of a freshening between Monmouth and the Haskell and the PA Derby. So he's only made 3 starts since July, where you look at some of these other horses. They had like a break right before the Pegasus. They went to the Pegasus. One of them went to Saudi. One went to Dubai. So it really wouldn't be shocking to use the Pegasus. Also knowing the distance of this race, trying to if you're going to go to Saudi, the timeline of everything, I mean, it still would work for him. So, and I think everyone hit the nail on the head that the crop with the retirement of some of these horses has really kind of changed the trajectory for 2023 in your campaign and where you go from here. I figured all along, even regardless of this race, he was going to go to Saudi or Dubai and be one of the big headliners and big names. So why not go to the Pegasus? It's still a couple $1 million for purse money.
John, always a fan of rubbing it in, lets us know that the 8 won the 10th at Golden Gate. So your golden hour pick 4 is still live. Only if Ashley played it. Did you play it, Ashley?
No, you reprimanded me and said, "Oh, don't do it." So I didn't. So we'll see how this goes. When we're alive and it's the 7 who's decent price and the payouts are good, I will never let you live this down.
Yeah, 8 was 8 to 1 on the morning line there at Golden Gate.
Oh no!
Did we have it on our ticket? Did we have it on our ticket?
Yes.
Unfortunately, the mythical ticket that no one punched in.
Yeah. Well, hopefully someone played it because a lot of people were asking for it. So hopefully somebody actually played that ticket. Aaron D. Can the 11 win this race? Asking for a friend in a certain tournament. I am actually, so I don't know how to describe this feeling. I'm pretty flattered that people are like watching us and they're like basing tournament decisions on our input. I think it's great. Like this is like a two-way conversation, but like thinking that people at the highest level investing serious money are watching the show is also pretty cool. And I wonder strategically if they're trying to get a sense for what public opinion might be, or if they think we might talk people on a certain horse and they're going the other way. I don't know exactly what the game plan is, but it is cool that we've been brought into this conversation. And so let's answer that particular question. Can the 11 win this race? The 11 is School Dance. It's a horse that we haven't talked much about. She comes off of 3 straight wins. She's obviously stepping up here from a first level allowance win into grade 1 company in the American Oak. So I don't know who wants that question, but if anybody wants to jump right in.
I'll take it. I absolutely don't think this horse can win this race. That was just a much easier field than what's lined up here. And D'Amato is good and he's taking his shot in this race. And maybe it's definitely not the toughest grade 1 race, the American Oaks this year. It's been much tougher in the past. This is an absolute grab bag, but I would be really surprised to see this horse win. Now, D'Amato took over 2 races ago, and this horse has done nothing wrong for Phil, so he's feeling pretty confident. But this would be a big ask.
I've seen worse 25 to 1 shots though. I mean, that would be my counter argument to can the 11 win. You mentioned 2 races in the D'Amato barn, 2 wins. The race 2 back was against Older as well, which I think is a definite plus. Not my cup of tea, but I wouldn't talk you off a 25 to 1 shot here, especially with D'Amato and Vasquez.
Ashley, you have any interest in that horse?
Not to win, no. I mean, okay. I don't know. I feel like when you jump up to these waters, as Scotty's kind of alluded to, and everyone, no, it's not probably your traditional grade 1 that you would see for this level. This horse is also going to have to stretch out further, and you look at the last 2 races, very different in terms of the pace scenario that's set up and the trips that she had gotten in those races. Got the outside draw in here, which is going 1.25 miles. So at least she's got some time to maybe rebound from that, but this is a horse that was at Gulfstream, and I remember her. It did take her a little bit to break her maiden. She broke it actually on a race, carded for the turf, moved to the Tapeta, and she seems to be thriving on the West Coast. But I just think this is too deep for her in terms of competition. But we already know this. I like bombs for underneath and things. I could see her maybe getting a minor share at best, but you look at the tote board. I mean, there's a lot of horses in that 5 to 1, 8 to 1 range, and they're all really live. It's a tough race still.
Your favorite's the 9-horse Salima. We do have a comment here from Misfit Children who says, you have no faith in 11. Go School Dance. David, looking forward to Mise en Scène, the 6-horse, currently 7-2, coming out of the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf, where she finished 6th. I think she's an interesting horse we should talk a little bit about. I'm not sure I love that price. I kind of wanted a bigger price on her, but she is interesting. Mike, 10-1, all over that 7. Johnny V, he is talking about Skims, who I believe Mike Somich was on and mentioned a little bit earlier. We're going to dig a little deeper into that. And let's see. I think that's good for the comments for now. Mike, you want to talk a little bit about the 7?
Yeah, I think there's a really interesting horse in this spot. Skims has been consistently getting better as the year has gone along, coming off her best race in the Sands Point last time out, won a grade 2. Eminent Victor was in that spot, a pretty good horse out there in New York. It's a horse I also think has an advantage here from a pace perspective. Not a race that's featuring a ton of horses that want to be forwardly placed. And Skims is one of those horses that can sit that second or third spot, get first run on the leaders, and make some noise. 10-1 is a really generous price in this spot. I totally get why the 9-horse Salima's taking the money. This is Chad Brown, Flavian Pratt, coming west. These horses generally fare very well here, but they also generally get overbet as well. And that kind of leaves some value in other spots if you want to look for win prices here. So I think the 7 at 10-1 Skims is a really good win number there if you're able to get those off odds.
9-1, but still pretty good.
Removing the number, Dan.
Removing the number, apparently. All right, we've done a fair bit of talking about pace throughout this show, and I think it's worth visiting that for this conversation. I think Sparkle Blue is going to be forwardly placed. I don't know that she'll be on the lead, but I think she'll be up there. The 5-horse Bell Street Friday also with a bit of speed, but this race isn't loaded with speed. Ashley, is that why you're on the 2? What are you thinking in terms of how the pace unfolds here?
Yeah, I mean, I do think she's going to be forwardly placed, and there isn't a whole heck of a lot of speed in here. I also thought with the inside draw, I mean, we haven't ever seen her on the lead in these races, but just kind of looking at where she's been very close to it, which I sort of like it in these types of races, especially at this distance personally. Like I mentioned, there was a couple of things that I originally liked her. Part of the factor was Joelle, because I'm all about the stats today and just looking at random tidbits. But when you see the name Joelle Rosario in Grand Motion, it's not something you see every day. And just kind of looking at them over the last 2 years, I think they're 4 for something. It's 22%. So I think it's 4 for 17. They're 50% in the money. And he rode the filly at Keeneland. I thought it was a pretty good trip. She's coming out of some big fields where we talked about a couple others in here have been not the toughest of groups. I'm not saying the caliber, but she's had to kind of carve out, decent trips, and she's been forwardly placed each and every time. So I just thought she was intriguing out there for a bunch of reasons. Speed, Grand Motion. We've mentioned Joe Bravo rides. I'm not worried about the rider switch, really. I mean, I think just Joelle was just interesting to see when you're going through the past performances. And from a figure standpoint, she's got some of the better numbers, and I just think we're kind of seeing what she's made out of. I think she's getting a bit better with every start as well.
Scotty, Equine Edge has Sparkle Blue and Mise en Scène, the 6-horse, as the top 2 speed horses. You've also got Mise en Scène, 26% win percentage. That's the top in the race. Is that your horse?
Well, I'm going with the 8 Pizza Bianca, but I will say this: it also has the top GSR of 81. And when you're talking about these turf races, that GSR is just really, really important. Another one, I just think that it's a very tough race. I mean, this horse was, I'm not going to say it was also ran in the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Turf, but I mean, didn't run terrible and has a good GSR. I think this horse is with Brendan Walsh takes over. Tyler Gaffleone jumps aboard. He didn't come here for no reason, Tyler, here on opening day. So I think probably on paper, the horse to beat. I think one of the discussions should be this 9. For us, this horse is really, really nice. Chad Brown connections are good, but this GSR is so low. Like it's I don't know that this horse wants to go 10 furlongs, to be honest with you. So this favorite might be a horse worth trying to beat, but top win percentage definitely is on the 6-horse Mise en Scène and the top GSR. It's I think that she's going to run a really good race, but I'm going to go with the 8-horse Pizza Bianca. For a Grand Motion takes over this horse in the matriarch. This horse ran third. That was a much tougher field than what's lined up in here. And I think this horse, it's going to need some speed. I think it'll be closer to the pace on the turf here because there doesn't seem to be a lot of pace. And so at 6-1 right now, I'd give Pizza Bianca a good chance.
Yeah, look, I like where you're coming from with Salima. I think that might be some Chad Brown, Flavian Pratt type of support there. Visually, I mean, I'm not seeing it, but maybe she'll make a fool of us and run off with this race. On Pizza Bianca, I do have some concerns. I mean, I do think, as you alluded to, she's a bit pace dependent. Maybe at that price, worth taking a chance. Does anyone else here like Pizza Bianca, or are we thinking, look, from a class perspective, she obviously more than fits, but like, does she absolutely need a pace setup here?
I think so. I think that's why she was able to be successful at the Breeders' Cup. I remember that Jose Ortiz ride was one of the best rides of the weekend, weaving through traffic and be able to make up all that late ground as the pace kind of came back to her. I feel like that's when she's most successful, is when she's able to run into a fast pace, and we just don't have that today. So I think the pace might be a little against Pizza Bianca. We've seen that closing kick, and Grand Motion obviously knows very well what he's doing here. So I wouldn't be shocked if Pizza Bianca wins, but I'd want a little bit bigger of a price here. A little interested in the 1-horse on the rail. We haven't talked about Rhea Moon yet at all. It's Phil D'Amato barn, second off the layoff. Horse is coming off back-to-back wins, ran the best race of her career last time out, first time off the layoff, going a mile in the Grade 3 Autumn Miss, first time against Grade Stakes Company. If you go back, she ran a maiden special weight at 1 1/8 miles. So she has run at this distance, ran second in that race. We've seen her consistently improve. 7-1 seems like a big number here to me. I kind of like just boxing up the 1-2-7 and see if we can get two decent prices home in the exacta.
I'm with you on Ram Moon as well. I really like that horse. Watching replays, she was extending late last out in the Autumn Miss. Got a nice setup in that race. She took full advantage of it though, and I thought it looked really impressive. She's finished first or second in all 4 of her Santa Anita starts. She hasn't gone this far, but I don't have any doubt that she can and will excel at this distance. I like Ram Moon a lot, and that leads me back to my second choice here, which is Sparkle Blue, which. It's time to wax poetic, Ashley. Just go off on Sparkle Blue. And how are you playing this horse exactly?
I mean, to me, we talked about the pace. I think we've kind of drained that segment, right? I mean, she's just going to be close to it. She could be on the lead. She could be tracking in second. In terms of how I'm wagering it, I'm not sold on the 9 in terms of those 2 last. I know they were wins. I really don't know what she faced. If you go to the race 2 back, horses came back to run well in allowance races, second and thirds in there. That most recent race, we keep on talking about, I feel like this is the Grand Motion show for race 11, but already talked about, I think the name is Candy Light, won at Gulfstream today. The other horse that has raced since the most recent race for Salima, finished 4th in that same race today, the Tropical Park Oaks for the girls. I'm playing a couple tries, and I'm just using Sparkle Blue in the top spot and the second spot. I've been trying to find that price for third and for a horse underneath. I like Skims a little bit. I'm not completely sold on Skims in terms of the win honors, but Shug going to California, that's another stat. That's another one that you don't see a lot. Just looked at Santa Anita. The past 5 years, he's run 1 horse there. I'm sure we know who that is, Code of Honor, who unfortunately, while we've been on this live stream, was announced that he passed away.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I got that from my dad has been texting, so he must be tuning into this. Wow. So it's interesting to see Shug out there, knowing that he's got horses in Florida where there is a turf course as well, but sending this one out there, it is a grade 1. And she did run a really well race last time out, and she was forwardly placed as well in that race. I mean, it was 1 1/8 miles over a good turf course, so getting drier footing today. Just thought maybe at the price to use underneath.
Want a bomb price? The 4-horse Oakhurst. I talked to one of the part owners this morning. They have excuses for the last 2 races. They think she's going to run big today, think she can hit the board. Don't necessarily think she can win. But if you look back at what she was able to do in the Chad Brown barn, she broke out of the 13 post in a 14-horse race, 2 back. The last race out of the Nevin barn is the one that concerned. She wasn't really engaged in that one. But the fact that they're putting her in this spot here, now she's sitting on the board at 50-1. If you go back to the first stakes win, It's good enough to fit here underneath. I'm not saying she can win the race, but if you're playing a super or a try, I'd sprinkle a little bit of the 4 Oakhurst there in the 3rd or 4th spot.
So I'm gonna one up both of you, and I'm gonna give you a bigger price underneath.
It's going to the 10.
I am absolutely going with the 10. I actually just spent a $10 exacta box, 1, 2, 10. Since like if you're watching this, you can make fun of me later, but look, I watch a lot of replays, just because I love the punishment, and so I watched the red carpet, which is this horse's last race. You look at her finishing 6th, you're like, not much to watch there probably, but I was like, let me watch it, see what I missed. She really did not run that bad of a race there. She broke wide, was a little slow. She was rushed up early to stay in touch. And then she traveled wide throughout. And then what was incredible to me is visually, she still had a lot more in the tank. She made this middle move, and again, was wide. She flattened out. But there were multiple moves, and I thought that was impressive. Now, I'm not saying she's a grade 1 filly who's going to like step up here and just draw off here. But I think she's the kind of horse who can clunk up and finish 3rd, maybe 2nd on her best day. Her 3rd place finish in the Allowance prior over this turf course, I think, is more indicative of what she can do with a better trip. She hasn't won over this turf course, but I think she's run probably 2 of her best races over the turf here at Santa Anita. And I think 70-1 is a bit outrageous. So I'm going to use her in exacta. Scotty, last word to you.
Well, I think that there's no speed in here. Pizza Bianca, the 8 horse, with the class that she has, I think will be closer to the pace. So I'm expecting a good effort from her.
All right, we're closing it out with the American Oaks. Thank you to everyone who's joined us for Boxing Day bets. Let's make some money. Let's get Sparkle Blue home for Ashley. One time.
Otherwise, I'm crawling right under my desk and shutting my computer.
They're in the gate. They're off in the American Oaks. It's a quick beginning for Salima. Sparkle Blue has some early interest as well. And they're joined by Lady Clementine with the yellow cap, who's drifting just a touch as they get to the main course. Salima will be the pace setter, opens it up to a length and a half. School Dance now moves into 2nd. Down at the rail, it's Sparkle Blue, a close-up and well-held 3rd. Mise en Scène is in the center. Moving up now in 4th, about 2.5 or 3 lengths off the leader. They are followed mid-pack by Lady Clementine. Skims has made it over to the rail and is only about 4 or 5 lengths off the lead as they move into the first turn. That group is followed by Bell Street Brighty. Rhea Moon in the turquoise colors is down on the inside. Oakhurst between rivals. Duvet Day outside of them, and Pizza Bianca at the back of the field. It's Salima, the controlling speed, has it by just under a length. With School Dance in 2nd, Mise en Scène a 3 wide 3rd. Followed by Sparkle Blue, Lady Clementine, and Skims is racing between those two, 3.5 lengths off the pace. Rhea Moon and Duvet Day are right together with less than a half mile to go in the Grade 1 American Oaks, Oakhurst, and Pizza Bianca. They're covered by just 8 lengths into the far turn. And it's Salima and Flavienne Pratt dictating all the terms, letting it out a notch now to lead by about a length and a half. School Dance trying to cling to her, cuts right back into the margin. It's a neck with 1/4 mile to go. Mise en Scène is next. Just behind them, Lady Clementine. Skims. They turn for home. At the rail, Salima is asked to kick on. As School Dance goes on by, there's clear sailing for Rhea Moon on the outside, inside the final 1/8 of a mile. And Skims is running a good race between horses. Here's Rhea Moon after School Dance. And from the back, Oakhurst flying late. Rhea Moon gets up to win the American Oaks from School Dance. Then it was a photo for 3rd. And it did involve Oakhurst. Inside of her was Sparkle Blue and Skims.
Woo! Wow.
Was that Mike, the 11?
Yeah.
No, it was the 1. It was 1.
Well, the 1 won. The 11 ran 2nd, unfortunately.
It was 1:11. Mike, you had to kind of look like, what the hell did I do? Like, I bet that race wrong.
I have the 1 over the 274 for a $5 try.
Didn't use the 11. I'm in the same boat. I was freaking 1-2, and I didn't use the 11. We should have listened to the person who said the 11.
Oh, nice call, not 11. Good dad. Like you have a conviction like that, you stick with it. That was fantastic. Nice job.
Yeah, and he obviously, as Steve mentioned here, it seemed like he needed that horse in the tourney. I mean, who knows? Maybe second was good enough. But I mean, the horse ran a hell of a race. Sparkle Blue never, I don't know, like just didn't really get running room, or just didn't really get going, was kind of down on the inside. And I don't know.
I don't like to make excuses. I didn't think she had, Joe kind of had his kind of hands tied, right? Entering the turn, was behind horses. The 11, I wasn't on the rail necessarily, but was right in front of him. Thought she still ran pretty well in the end, but she never got the to me, really room in the stretch, because I actually thought at one point he was going to have to tip out if he was going to do anything, but there really wasn't the room to do so. So I thought she ran a good race. She looked pretty comfortable in the turn. It looked like he had some horse. The thing that I thought was kind of a little interesting was to see the 9 on the lead. I mean, that horse was keyed up and aggressive early on. They were able to slow it down for the opening, the half, but the quarter came up a little quick, I'd say, and had nothing left in the end. So.
Dang it.
Yeah,
we were so close here. We were so close here to like a really nice hit. I mean, phenomenal call, Mike, on Oakhurst too. I mean, at 45-1, this isn't Mr. Somo Bombs for nothing. The guy just delivers bombs time after time after time. Spectacular call, 45-1. Duvet Day had plenty of excuses, so I'm not going to go through all of them. But really, what a great call with this long shot. And Skims ran a nice race as well, coming from off the pace. The pace was probably a little faster than we thought, but no excuses for the favorite. I mean, who essentially, had things her own way. Salima. I mean, that was, and you mentioned it, Scotty. I mean, she looked vulnerable.
She did. She had the low class. She had the lowest GSR. It was the EquineEdge top pick. I was playing against it. Rhea Moon, the one who Mike mentioned as well, that was the EquineEdge second pick. There is an objection. By the way, so there is an objection for the second, third, and fourth spot. The 11,
come on, Mike, one time.
Can we get a Christmas miracle? Let's go, baby.
Let's go.
let's just the 1, 2, 4 try. We'll pay a little bit.
7. It's the 7. Okay, here we go. This is why Pops is in the chat. He's bringing it to us. It's the 7 against the 11.
Oh,
let's go. Let's go.
So, interesting, real quick. I mean, well, let me watch this and then I'll comment on it.
All right, let me full screen. I'm going to full screen this. Hold on.
I don't want to get excited yet.
So the 11's in the yellow cap. He's going to come out.
Take him down. Take him down. No, I'm kidding. I don't even know what happened yet.
Ooh. I mean, I'm buying. So
for me on that head-on view, for me, I would take the 11 down. For me, I mean,
I totally agree with you, Scotty.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to be more mad though, if I'm being honest, because I didn't listen to our friend here about Oakhurst, and I really needed Skims for third then to have the try. So I'm just defeated, man. I'm just so mad.
Well, look, hey. If Mike hits this, he's sending us all $1,000. So it's going to be really, really good.
This would not be a bad one to hit here. Real quick on the 2 Sparkle Blue that Ashley brought up in the 9 setting the pace there. It feels like Bravo thought the 9 wasn't going to quit, and that's why he had the handful of reins, was just sitting right behind the 9 and wanted to tilt right out in the 2 path. When the 9 came back, that really caused a lot of trouble for Sparkle Blue, because the path that Bravo wanted was the 2 path outside the 9 after that turn. And he ended up having to figure out where to go inside or outside after that 9 came back. The 11 sitting in the right and the outside. You can see it here. Had to wait to then angle out to that 2 path, which made it a lot more difficult.
Yeah. I wonder if we're going to see a pan view. They showed a head on and that view, but they didn't show a pan view. Like, I think the pan view would show a lot as well after we see the head on. It's hard to see how far in front the 11 was of those other horses.
Right.
Yeah, the pan view would absolutely help. Yeah. Look, as long as that objection sign's still up, we've got hope. Apologies to anyone who has the 11 here. We also wish you the best. But this does make for a little bit of drama here. before we close out our opening day show here. Well, they're still flashing. So if the 11 goes down, we'll have a couple of happy people here. If he stays up, a few people in the chat, I'm sure, would like the 11 to stay up as well. So we'll see what happens. We're not going anywhere. We're gonna wait through this. While we're waiting, we've already done a little bit of like everybody saying kind of who they're from and where to find them. But Scotty, just real quick, do the quick elevator pitch on Equine Edge and how people could get more from you guys.
Just go to www.EquineEdge.com and there's a free trial a week, and check it out. And we've got a great intercom button down below that kind of gives you access like a text directly to the team, and they're very responsive. And there's a lot of videos as well, tutorials and things like that. So check it out.
Okay, we did see the objection sign go down, so it looks like this race will probably go official as 111-2. Sorry, Mike. What do you do? Well, you still made some phenomenal calls here during this race and throughout the show. So where can people get more of that?
Yeah, follow me at Samobomb18 over on Twitter. Check out racingdudes.com. We got the podcast Magic Mike show every Monday and Thursday. Monday's a recap show. Thursday, generally covering a pick 4, pick 5 sequence. And check out YouTube /Racing Dudes. I do a sequence there called that specifically highlights trips called Stable 'em Up, where you can go find horses to check out for the upcoming races. We're trying to get some prices on.
All right. Good job, Mike. No change confirmed.
Hey, Dan, did you have that horse in the Golden Hour, the one? Was that on that ticket?
I don't think so. Nope, it was 2, 6. It was 2, 6, 7, and 8.
2, 6,
okay,
7,
that makes
8.
me feel better.
Okay,
thank you, Scotty. Now I feel better.
Okay,
I feel a lot better. All right, Ashley. No regrets. Well, I guess people could find you on Twitter, right? For one, that's where you put out most of your racing content these days.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a variety of places, depends on the day, but I'm doing some stuff with the Daily Racing Form right now, which is exciting and kicked off last week. Sorry for touting Sparkle Blue, who was just third best today, but yeah, we'll see what.
Wow, no, it ran great.
That was a good call.
It still did, but I mean, I wanted to have that good single, but yeah, we'll see what 2023 brings in the works as well. But hopefully, we got some more ABR stuff coming as well next year.
Love it. We want to have you back. We want to have everyone back with us. This is just the beginning, right? So the Santa Anita Park meet kicks off today. It's the classic meet. It goes through April. Hoping, fingers crossed, we'll be out at Santa Anita live on site at some point during the meet. In the meantime, we'll be doing a lot of this stuff. You could catch a lot more every weekend and every week, really, at Santa Anita Park, Gulfstream Park, Oaklawn, all of your tracks that run through the winter at America's Best Racing, americasbestracing.net, at ABR Live on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok. Are you guys on TikTok? Yeah? No? Okay. Well, if you're watching and you're on TikTok, we're there, and we're doing stuff every day. Yeah, so unfortunately, we're done. Like, this is so much fun. I don't want it to end, but we're done for now. So thank you. Mike, Scotty, Ashley, thank you. Ryan checked in, sent me a text, apologized for not joining us. He's having lots of technical difficulties. But Ryan Flanders, you could check him out at Trip Notes Pros. Lots of great stuff there as well. But for now, that's about it. I'm like really sad. I don't want to end this, but I have to. All right, guys. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. We'll see you next time.
Happy holidays, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Pegasus World Cup.
Hey, honey.
Hi. I'm thrilled to be here in Dubai for Super Saturday, which is a lead up to the Dubai World Cup.
Let's go. The day is finally here.
Until now, nothing gets better than winning a race.
Come on. Get up there, big.
I've seen him do worse for less.
Life is good.
We got it.
I was going to say, it looks like we're going to prom together right now.
Go number 8, Venti Valentine. Let's go. Can we freeze time right now?
Hola y bienvenidos a La Tristeza.
Freezing cold Churchill down. The over-under that my hat stays on. Look at that. Woo, come on, wind.
Red Strike has done it.
What's the craziest thing you've seen out here?
Probably a lit cigar being put out on a guy's ass. That takes the cake.
Ian.
How you doing? It's great to hear your voice in person rather than just, through the internet.
Well, what's interesting is that you don't follow me.
Dude, all right.
Del Mar opening day, let's go! I've never seen a margarita with this much alcohol in it in my life. Oh yeah, that's gonna do the trick.
Cheers to 147th Preakness. It is 97 degrees.
Also, I love this feather. It's like a paid actor for you. Like every time you
If Dan acts up, I just have to
head football coach at the University of South Carolina, Shane Beamer.
You guys are doing a phenomenal job. Keep the horse racing going.
Promo.
Thank you.
Cut it.
Flightline, 20 lengths clear in the TVG Pacific Classic.
I'm Rachel with America's Best Racing, and we're here at the Belmont Stakes today.
Come on, baby, come running. Send him, come on. Let's get a piece of it.
Back at the Belmont Stakes, I wanna gabagool.
Gabagool.
We are live at Woodbine.
There's a hot sauce next to it, I saw. So.
Oh boy.
It is a red chili pepper.
Hey guys, I'm Lindsay Zarniak, and I'm here at the Breeders' Cup in Lexington, Kentucky. Can we take the train? That's pretty good.
You don't know what to say. If he runs his race, he should be okay.
They're off in the 39th Breeders' Cup Classic. It is Flightline. It is spine-tingling, jaw-dropping, awe-inspiring, secretariat-like Breeders' Cup Classic win. Breeders' Cup Classic.
And thank you at home for watching. This has been Breeders' Cup Live. We'll see you next time.